Chapter 678. The chef's position was too close to Wang Zhong. Furthermore, the alley was dark and no one could aim at him. Seeing that the chef was right in front of Wang Zhong moved. He swiftly kicked the chef. Although the chef was strong, his strength lay in the kitchen knife in his hand. As long as he did not come into contact with the knife, he would be fine. This kick almost caused the chef's gallbladder to burst out. He stopped moving for a moment. Wang Zhong retreated. Bang bang bang. Several gunshots rang out. The chef was hit in the chest 3 times and fell to the ground. He. He looked at the sky with lifeless eyes. It was as though he was not afraid of pain. Are you okay? A young policeman asked as he supported Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong's face turned pale. I'm fine. I'm just a little scared. Is this guy crazy? He is indeed crazy. He stuffed his mother into a suitcase. We have been monitoring him for a while to find conclusive evidence. We want to know where he hid the body. We didn't expect you to find out. Wang Zhong smiled awkwardly. He was glad that his actions were not discovered. From his experience in his previous life, he knew that once awakened ones were discovered, they would be sent to a special institution to be trained. The so-called training, on one hand, was to be taught by a teacher to become stronger and serve the country. On the other hand, it was to cultivate patriotism. They taught people to love their country, be professional, be harmonious, be friendly, etc., etc. Wang Zhong believed that he already loved his country, be professional, be harmonious, etc., etc. Thus, there was no need for further training. Now he was wholeheartedly focused on farming. Only by farming could he become stronger. Therefore, if he was discovered to be not an ordinary person and was sent to a special institution, wouldn't he be unable to farm? This was not what Wang Zhong wanted. In addition, farming was also his biggest secret, and he couldn't let anyone touch it. Now he pretended to be scared. He swallowed his saliva and said, "This person is so cruel. It's too scary. I smelled something and came in to take a look. I didn't expect there to be a body here. Thank you for saving me. If you didn't appear in time, I would have become a corpse." "Don't be afraid, young man. Actually, your performance was pretty good." The middle-aged officer walked over. He looked like he had a high position, and the officers around him moved aside for him. "If you hadn't found the opportunity to kick him, to be honest, we wouldn't have been able to save you in time. You're not bad." Wang Zhong patted his chest and said, "I also had a sudden inspiration. But how did this guy become like this?" Wang Zhong wanted to find out if the police knew anything about the chef. "This guy used to be an honest man who worked in this restaurant. I heard from the neighbors that he was often bullied. Later on, for some reason, his personality changed." After the middle-aged man said a few words, a policeman behind him walked over and said, "They're here." "Yes." The middle-aged policeman nodded and said to Wang Zhong, "Young man, you and Little Tong can go outside and take down the statement." What was she up to? She didn't want him to know. Someone had just told him that they were here. Wang Zhong guessed that the group of people who specialized in dealing with strange things had arrived. In other words, it was the awakened squad. When dealing with awakened ones, when the police couldn't deal with them, the awakened squad would be dispatched. Wang Zhong understood. In fact, he wanted to pick up the kitchen knife on the ground because he vaguely felt that this kitchen knife was not ordinary. But obviously, the police wouldn't let him touch it. He followed a young policeman and walked out. "You come with me too," Wang Zhong quietly said to Ning Qiao, who was beside him. Later, the awakened squad would come. They might see Ning Qiao, so he had to take her away. Ning Qiao nodded and followed Wang Zhong out of the alley. As soon as they went out, a black jeep stopped at the entrance of the alley. 3 people in black got out of the jeep and walked straight into the alley. "Uncle, who are these people? Are they the police? How can they enter a place where we're handling cases?" Wang Zhong smiled and asked the young policeman, "Little Tong." "They must be sent by the higher-ups. There are some things you don't need to know. In short, don't go to remote places in the future." "All right, since you've said that, I'll get it," Wang Zhong said with a smile. "Name?" "Chen Anlin." "Age? It seems you're still in school." "Yes." "Then why are you here?" "Buying something," Wang Zhong said casually. Then, Wang Zhong casually explained how he came to the alley. When he was talking, he could see from the corner of his eye that the leader of the group was about to pick up the kitchen knife. What surprised him was that the kitchen knife suddenly rose up and slashed at him. Fortunately, this group of people seemed to be vigilant. The leader of the group shouted and slapped the kitchen knife down. In an instant, a black shadow flashed on the kitchen knife. This black shadow looked like a skinny old man. After the skinny old man was slapped, the two people on the side joined together. Their lips slightly opened as if they were chanting a spell. The skinny old man kept screaming and finally disappeared completely. The kitchen knife fell to the ground and became rusty and lost its spirituality. This group of people didn't seal off the place when they were doing things. Obviously, the higher-ups were numb to this kind of thing. This was normal. In Wang Zhong's impression, these things were all out in the open. After sending Ning Qiao away, Wang Zhong left. On the way, he did a few more good deeds. The sky gradually darkened. Now that he had collected more than 800 technical points, it was enough for him to farm. When he returned to the village, it was already very late. Fortunately, he told his grandfather in advance that he was having dinner at his classmate's house and didn't need to wait for him. He came to the mountain alone. As soon as he went over, he heard a crying sound. Woo-woo, woo-woo. This sound was obviously Ma Dongmin's. This child was crying. Wang Zhong opened the tent covering her, and saw Ma Dongmin crying like a pear blossom in the rain. She seemed to have suffered quite a bit of shock. In these few days, Ma Dongmin's shoulder was already exposed. Half of her breast was already exposed. If this continued, it would probably be exposed. Wang Zhong felt that it was strange. Why was she crying? When plants were sad, it wasn't good for their growth. Wang Zhong comforted her. Don't cry. What's wrong? You didn't come back today. I'm so thirsty. I'm so thirsty. Look at my hair. It keeps falling. Wang Zhong noticed that Ma Dongmin's hair was a little dry. His gaze froze. He remembered that he left in a hurry in the morning and didn't come here to water her. He didn't expect Ma Dongmin to be so dehydrated. Don't worry. I brought water. Ma Dongmin's plant was a little different from normal plants. Normal plants didn't need much water, but Ma Dongmin had to drink water every day. It was similar to humans. After drinking the water, Ma Dongmin heaved a sigh of relief. She said sadly, I thought Master didn't want me anymore. Silly child. I went out to do something. How could I not want you? That's good. But I feel like my hand is going to come out. I'm so happy. That's good. Soon you will be able to walk like me. Wang Zhong sighed. Yes. Speaking of her body, Ma Dongmin suddenly felt embarrassed. But, if you have something to say, just say it. Don't be so embarrassed. I was thinking, if I continue to grow like this, won't I be too exposed? After saying that, Ma Dongmin felt even more embarrassed. Wang Zhong said righteously, don't worry about that. Although I also like girls and I'm still at the age where I'm full of vigor, don't worry. Even if you're naked in front of me, I won't look sideways. I won't look around. Okay then. Ma Dongmin hesitated for a moment and said, okay, take a rest. Wang Zhong nodded at Ma Dongmin and then looked at his own shop. Now his cultivation was too. There were a few more products in the shop. One of them was the Happy Fertilizer. The previous Happy Water was 100 skill points per bottle. The Happy Fertilizer actually cost 200 skill points. This is too expensive. But thinking that the Happy Fertilizer's nutritional content was much higher, it didn't matter if it was expensive. In addition to the Happy Fertilizer, there were a few more products. Big Cucumber. A crisp and delicious big cucumber. It's fragrant and delicious and has a great texture. Eating it can slowly restore energy. P.S. Not only can it restore energy, it can also fill your stomach. The effect of scrambled eggs with cucumber is even better. Small pea. A small pea has a good texture. Throw it in the hand, and it will shoot at the opponent like a bullet. P.S. Don't throw the small pea around. At this moment, a word appeared in Wang Zhong's mind. Pea shooter bullets. This is probably not bad. Currently my attack methods are too simple. With this, I don't need to think about buying a gun. Wang Zhong took a deep breath and continued reading. Happy lychee, a tender and juicy large lychee that can restore cultivation. P.S. You can only eat one a day. The 3 products that appeared were all good for Wang Zhong. Among them, the cucumber couldn't restore cultivation, but it could restore energy. The pea bullet had attack power. The happy lychee could restore cultivation. At present, Wang Zhong knew that as his cultivation improved, he would be able to unlock more products in the shop. But here came the problem. At present, he only had 800 technical points. In other words, if he wanted to grow these plants, it seemed that he couldn't grow them in batches. It seems that I have to work harder to earn technical points. With a sigh, Wang Zhong came to the place where he planted the scorching sun technique a few days ago. That day, he only watered the happy water, and the plants where he planted the technique only had a small head. Immediately, Wang Zhong exchanged for a pack of happy fertilizer. Happy fertilizer contains a lot of nutrients. 1 pack can be used multiple times. It is recommended that only 3 spoonfuls of each pack be used for plants. Wang Zhong was overjoyed. So 1 pack can be used multiple times. This is much more economical than the happy water. The happy fertilizer was about the size of instant noodles. After opening it, there was a small spoon inside. 3 spoonfuls of the powdered happy fertilizer were evenly sprinkled on the ground. The scorching sun technique plants began to grow bigger and bigger. Soon, a big tree as thick as paper finished growing. The 3 pieces of paper on it smelled delicious. Chapter 679. Blazing Sun Divine Technique. A powerful Yang Qi divine technique that can resist the invasion of any evil beings. P.S. Eat the fruit, and you will master the divine technique. Looking at the introduction of the Blazing Sun divine technique, Wang Zhong almost laughed out loud. Good stuff. Good stuff. Just as he had guessed, anything could be grown. Pirated techniques could also be grown. The most important thing was that one only needed to eat the fruit to cultivate. No wonder the papers on the tree smell so fragrant. It smells like strawberries. Seems like these are the fruits. Without further ado, Wang Zhong plucked the papers on the spot. There were a total of 10 papers, and each of them depicted strange little figures. Wang Zhong ate a piece of paper. The thin paper wasn't real paper, and there was a sweet juice inside. Wang Zhong didn't want to waste a single drop, so he swallowed it all. In an instant, a wave of heat circulated in his chest. Blazing Sun Divine Technique, First Style, Qi and Blood Return. Naturally, Wang Zhong felt his qi and blood boiling, and a wave of qi circulated throughout his body. This was the power of the technique. Wang Zhong felt very hot, and his body was filled with an even more domineering power. He ate the second piece of paper without hesitation. He didn't gobble it down, but chewed it slowly. Blazing Sun Divine Technique, Second Style. Blazing Sun Divine Technique, Third Style. Every move turned into tangible kinetic energy in his mind, and Wang Zhong felt the qi in his body getting stronger and stronger. This wasn't the spirit qi that he had cultivated in the past, but a transparent and invisible force. With this force, Wang Zhong even felt that he could look inside himself. His scorching hot body heated up everything around him. Blazing Sun Divine Technique, 10th Style. Finally, he swallowed the last piece of paper. In an instant, a strange phenomenon occurred. Wang Zhong seemed to have turned into a golden man, and his body was emitting a golden glow. With this heat, evil beings would probably be injured just by looking at me, let alone getting close to me. Wang Zhong was overjoyed, but he soon calmed down. Although this move was powerful, it also had a huge side effect, which was that it consumed energy very quickly. After that, Wang Zhong exchanged for peas, cucumbers, and happy lychees, and planted them all. There was a whole row of plants, and every single one of them was sprinkled with happy water. These plants were obviously of a higher level, and required more nutrients. In addition to watering them with happy water, Wang Zhong also sprinkled happy fertilizer. The peas finally ripened, and formed a vine-like plant with segments of peas on it. Peeling off the skin, there were small peas inside. Counting, there were over 100 small peas on this vine. There were fewer large cucumbers, only 5 large cucumbers per plant. However, each cucumber was big and thick, and its skin was covered with small protruding bumps. Not only did it look delicious, but it also looked fun. The number of happy lychees was even fewer. Each plant only had 3 lychees, but each one was as big as a fist. How is this lychee? This is clearly a melon. Wang Zhong plucked a lychee without hesitation and carefully peeled off its skin. Suddenly, white syrup-like juice spurted out and sprayed Wang Zhong's face. Damn, it's obviously a fruit with a lot of nutrients. Wang Zhong didn't want to waste any of it and stuffed it into his mouth. The fragrance was overflowing. It was sweet and refreshing. The delicious taste stimulated Wang Zhong's limbs and bones. Suddenly, Wang Zhong felt his qi surging wildly. Cultivation level 3. His cultivation level had reached level 3. This made Wang Zhong stunned. He didn't expect the lychees to be so effective. The feeling of having one's strength skyrocket was really good. At this time, Wang Zhong noticed that 2 new plants had appeared. Bomb potato. A small and exquisite potato that contains a lot of energy and can blow up everything into ruins. P.S. You can't eat it. Exorcism mushroom. When encountering many evil creatures, the exorcism mushroom can make you immune to all evil. P.S. If you add more nutrients to the exorcism mushroom, it will have a better effect. These 2 plants looked good, but unfortunately, he didn't have any skill points and couldn't exchange for them. Wang Zhong still had some happy fertilizer, but he didn't use it on Ma Dongmin. The reason was simple. The happy fertilizer was too precious. He still had to plant various cultivation books and plants in the future. When Ma Dongmin grew up, it seemed like she couldn't help him much. So, he just let her grow up slowly. The next day, the middle school exam finally ended. This time, Wang Zhong didn't take the exam seriously because he had decided not to follow the path of his previous life. In this life, he had a way to become stronger. Naturally, he wouldn't go to high school. What, class monitor? You didn't do well this time. Ma Feifei was shocked to know that Wang Zhong wasn't going to go to high school. On the way back from school, Wang Zhong nodded and said, "Yes, Feifei. I'm going to do something else at home." "What are you going to do?" "I'm going to do a small business." Ma Feifei lowered her head. During this period, they had already confirmed their relationship. So, she was a little sad about Wang Zhong's sudden decision. "Go to school. You can tell me if you have anything." After thinking for a while, Wang Zhong could only say so. He went forward and put his arm around Ma Feifei's shoulder. "Don't worry, you can come over when you're on vacation." "Okay." Ma Feifei was very happy to snuggle up to Wang Zhong. But at the same time, she was a little worried. It was said that puppy love was basically hopeless, especially when the 2 of them separated. Could this relationship really continue? Ma Feifei didn't know, but she secretly made up her mind to keep a close eye on Chen Anlin. "Oh right, Feifei, if you find anything strange around you in the future, you must tell me." Wang Zhong said seriously. "What are you talking about? Have you heard about the recent supernatural events?" Those you are talking about? They all said that it's fake." Ma Feifei naturally heard many strange stories. There were all kinds of versions of these things. An old lady living alone laughed bitterly in the middle of the night. A baby appeared on the roof of a building in the middle of the night and looked down. There were also the voices of women singing in the sewers. There were too many of them, but most of them were refuted. Feifei, what if these things are true? Wang Zhong didn't intend to hide anything from Ma Feifei. What? Real? True. That's right. Wang Zhong sighed. In fact, if he could, he also wanted to make Ma Feifei stronger. But at the moment, he didn't even have enough. How could he use resources on her? So let's leave it at that for now. How did you know? Ma Feifei asked in shock. I heard it from others. Anyway, you have to be careful in the future, okay? Okay. Wang Zhong was quite assured about Ma Feifei's safety, because in his first life, Ma Feifei had survived until graduation. After parting with Ma Feifei, Wang Zhong went straight to the haunted cemetery that he saw on the forum. According to the girl who posted the post, Shen Jiujiu, she saw her grandfather here. If it weren't for her grandfather saving her at the last moment, she would have been dead. This cemetery wasn't difficult to find. Soon, Wang Zhong arrived at his destination on his electric scooter. This was a winding path. Few people came here on normal days. However, when it was Qingming Festival, this place was packed with people. Families of all ages came here to pay their respects with joss paper. The scene was very lively. Wang Zhong rode his electric scooter very slowly. As he walked, his eyes flashed with golden light as he looked around. After cultivating the blazing sun technique, the yang energy in his body was too rich and had turned golden. Even his eyes flashed with a faint golden light. Suddenly, footsteps came from behind him. An old man's voice sounded. "Young man, I can't find my house. Can you help me find it?" Wang Zhong turned around. The old man's head was lowered, and his face couldn't be seen clearly. He was wearing shabby clothes from 40 to 50 years ago. His voice was even lower as he said slowly, "I can't remember the past. I don't know what's going on." The old man slowly raised his head. There was no white in his black eyes. His whole body was lifeless. His empty eyes stared straight at Wang Zhong. Don't answer when evil beings ask for directions. Don't follow when evil beings lead the way. Make way when evil beings marry. Friend, do you know what will happen if you touch one of these taboos? At this moment, a fashionably dressed boy with earrings on his ears stood behind a tree with an indifferent expression as he smiled and asked Wang Zhong. What will happen? Something bad will happen. You have been targeted by evil beings. You are in big trouble. The young man said coldly. Wang Zhong was shocked. He pretended to be frightened and said, How? How did you know? Because I'm not an ordinary person. This old man is evil. Wang Zhong shouted. Of course. Otherwise, why would he walk with a cushion? The young man pointed at the old man's heels and continued. Evil beings walk with heavy resentment. You have to be careful. Save me. Of course. Of course I will save you. Now come with me. I'll take you to a place to get rid of this evil thing and return the world to a bright and peaceful place. The young man smiled reservedly and reached out to Wang Zhong. Let's go. Okay. Wang Zhong followed the young man. The old man followed closely behind and kept shouting. I can't find my way home. I can't find my way home. I can't find my way home. Wang Zhong walked a few steps. Soon the more he walked, the more remote they became. They came to a forest at the edge of the cemetery. There was a big mound here. Then, the young man turned to Wang Zhong and laughed. You're a bad person. Wang Zhong shouted in horror. Ha ha. It's too late. The young man laughed wildly. I don't understand. Why did you lie to me? Also, you're walking with a cushion. You're not evil. Who are you? Wang Zhong asked. Since you're about to die, I'll tell you. I'm a vampire. The young man showed his fangs and shook his head. He laughed heartily. I know. You lured me here to let me bleed. Since you know, then why don't you surrender? Don't worry, it won't hurt at all. It's just like an injection. Wang Zhong nodded and said, Okay, but before we do, I want to ask you a question. Make an idiom with both hands. Chapter 680. Using both hands to form an idiom? The young man was stunned. What do you mean? That's unnecessary. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Zhong activated the blazing sun pure yang technique, without hesitation. Boom. The scorching heat enveloped the young man. It was too hot. In the blink of an eye, the young man's skin was blistered and pustules appeared all over his body. This was also because the blazing sun pure yang technique had a restraining effect on evil beings. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so powerful. The young man screamed in pain. His originally plump skin shriveled, and eventually turned into a small old man. He curled up on the ground and became a dried corpse. The old man behind him was still there. However, in front of Wang Zhong's powerful yang energy, he didn't dare to approach and kept retreating. Who are you to him? Wang Zhong asked the old man. Master. Master, I'm just an ordinary person who was buried here. It's this kid. I don't know what's wrong with him. He actually cultivated by sucking blood. He forced me to help him lure people to this place and let him suck their blood. Wang Zhong looked around and asked, Why do you have to lure people to this place? The reason why he said it was unnecessary was because Wang Zhong couldn't figure it out. Wasn't it troublesome to spend so much effort to lure people here? Why didn't he just find a corner to suck their blood? The old man sighed. This young man said that this place is far from his home. Even if someone went missing here, they wouldn't be able to trace it back to him. That's really careful. Master, please let me go. I was forced to do this. Poochie. Wang Zhong casually threw a pea bullet. The bullet pierced through the old man, but didn't cause any harm to him. Master. Master. What did you throw at me? The old man swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Oh, nothing. I'm just trying. Wang Zhong said casually. He felt that it was a pity. As expected, something solid like a pea bullet didn't seem to have any effect on evil beings. Immediately, Wang Zhong's yang energy gushed out and a solid heat enveloped the old man. Ah. How could you go back on your words? The old man was shocked. You have such a strong smell of blood on you. Do you think I don't know that you've killed someone? Wang Zhong was very disdainful. It was obvious that this old man had killed people before. Regardless of whether he was willing or not, he had to get rid of him. The old man roared. He wanted to block the heat, but his strength was too weak. His rich soul power quickly withered, and in the end, it turned into nothing. His soul had already dissipated. This time, he earned a total of 300 technical points. This was also the mission this time. Mission: kill the blood demon puppet. Reward: 300 skill points. By now, Wang Zhong had figured out the rules of this quest. Doing good deeds could earn him technical points. Killing evil creatures could also earn skill points. The stronger the evil creatures killed, the more skill points he would earn. After leaving this place, Wang Zhong did not take the main road. Just as the blood demon puppet had thought, it was best to be careful, lest someone found out about him. Wang Zhong had thought about it. The way to become stronger was through the spiritual field, so he could not let a second person know about the existence of the spiritual field. In any case, it was still early, so Wang Zhong went to a few more strange places. Not long after he left, several jeeps stopped at this place. People in black suits got out of the jeeps. One of them was actually wearing a Taoist robe. It was a Taoist priest. He was holding a compass in his hand. The needle on it was shaking. This is the place where the ghost guides the way. The Taoist priest silently chanted a few words. A girl gradually appeared. Take us to the place where you died, the Taoist priest said. The girl nodded. Her eyes glazed over as she floated forward. The Taoist priest looked around. Around him was a graveyard. This kind of place with extreme negative energy was indeed very easy to breed evil creatures. But this time, the evil creatures were a bit different. Uncontrollably, information about this incident appeared in his mind. File 69. Human Act Incident Evil Creature Name Vampire. Temporary. Incident. A series of disappearances occurred in the graveyard next to National Highway 709. After investigation, human acts were found nearby. I found this place through the guidance of the dead. Found something. The Taoist priest immediately noticed that the ghost guiding the way had stopped. She was staring blankly at a small mound in the woods. A group of people walked over. Suddenly, their expressions changed. There was a skinny corpse here. The skin was scorched and the eyes were wide open. It seemed that the person had suffered a lot before he died. The ghost stared coldly at the corpse. Her resentment grew stronger and stronger. Did this person kill you? The Taoist priest asked. The ghost nodded slightly. He was killed. Who killed such a powerful person? The Taoist priest muttered. It seems that an extremely dangerous person has appeared in society. The speaker's expression changed. He ordered the people behind him, spread the news and let everyone keep an eye on him. This dangerous person is very strong. We must be on guard. It's best if we can recruit him. If he doesn't listen to us, kill him. Yes. After a few days of dealing with evil creatures, Wang Zhong gained more than 1,000 technical points. Not only that, but he also gained a lot of bomb potatoes and exorcism mushrooms. Bomb potatoes can only produce one grenade-sized fruit at a time. Bomb potatoes, small and delicate. They are difficult to detect. Throw them into the air and they will explode. P.S. It is strongly recommended that you throw them far away to avoid accidentally injuring yourself. He planted 2 bomb potatoes this time. Exorcism mushrooms were cheaper. They could produce 3 at a time. Wang Zhong obtained a dozen or so bomb potatoes. Crunch. Wang Zhong took a bite of the cucumber. He chewed on it as he made his way over to Ma Dongmin. After such a long time, half of Ma Dongmin's body was already exposed. Her beautiful and alluring body was like a bud waiting to blossom. However, Wang Zhong still helped her put on her clothes. "Thank you, big brother," Ma Dongmin said. "Don't mention it." Wang Zhong continued. "I'm going to use some happy fertilizer on you now. If anything goes wrong, you have to tell me immediately." "Got it." Thank you." Wang Zhong didn't waste any time and began to sprinkle the fertilizer. For normal plants, he only needed to sprinkle the fertilizer once. However, for Ma Dongmin, it took him 3 whole days. There were even 5 bottles of happy water. Wang Zhong's heart ached terribly. However, the results were also gratifying. Ma Dongmin had grown up. A pair of long legs emerged from the ground. Only the soles of her feet remained. Wang Zhong put on a dress that he had already prepared for her. Then, he began to sprinkle the fertilizer for the last time. Ma Dongmin instantly began to grow taller. Soon, Ma Dongmin finally matured. She tried to take a step, and her light footsteps made her elated. "Big brother Chen Anlin, I think I really can walk now." "That's great." A smile appeared on Wang Zhong's face. "That's a very good start. Congratulations, Ma Dongmin." "But am I still a human?" Ma Dongmin placed a hand on her chest. There was no heartbeat. Her expression instantly froze. Wang Zhong had long known that Ma Dongmin had no heartbeat. In fact, there was no blood or internal organs in her body. There were only bones and muscles. "You're definitely not a human. You should be a plant. You need to drink water every day. In addition, I reckon that you need to absorb nutrients from this spiritual land in time. Otherwise, you'll be malnourished." "I think so too." Ma Dongmin sighed. "It seems that I can't go far. I'll set up a tent for you here first. Take care of this place for me. I'll consider building a house here later." "Got it." On this day, Old Master Chen went to the mountain in front of his house to farm as usual. He planted a large patch of broad beans there. It was almost harvest season. The sky was a little gloomy today. He held a dustpan and walked on the path in the field. As he walked, he muttered, "My grandson has been really strange recently. He comes back late in the night and goes out early in the morning. Why does he always run up the mountain instead of going to school?" He felt that he could not see through Wang Zhong anymore. Fortunately, Wang Zhong's online Taobao shop could earn 8 to 10,000 yuan a month. Otherwise, he would really be worried about what Wang Zhong would do in the future. "Now that my grandson doesn't go to school, he can't always be alone. It's time to find him a wife. Who should I find?" Old Master Chen thought of Zhou Miaoyu. Zhou Miaoyu was recognized as the village belle in the village. She was very beautiful. However, he soon shook his head. Zhou Miaoyu was indeed very outstanding, but her family was too good. She might not take a fancy to his grandson. Otherwise, he could only take a step back and look for the fat girl in the village. Although the fat girl was a little fat, her father had a good relationship with him. When the time came, he could ask for less betrothal gifts. Most importantly, she could give birth to children if she was fat. Moreover, the fat girl was very willing to endure hardships. She herded sheep, dug dung, and worked in the field. It was said that once, a person went up the mountain and encountered a wild boar. She scared the wild boar away alone. If he married such a woman, he might be able to bring honor to his ancestors. Thinking of this, Old Master Chen sighed. After all, his poor son and daughter-in-law had passed away too early. Now he had to worry about his grandson's marriage. This was really troublesome. "Forget it. When I go back, I'll ask my grandson who he likes." Old Master Chen shook off his thoughts. After a few steps he frowned. The sun hung high in the sky. However, the further he walked, the darker the place became. This made Old Master Chen feel a little uneasy. As a farmer, he would watch the weather forecast every day. He knew that today should be a sunny day. Da-da-da, there seemed to be footsteps behind him. Although Old Master Chen was old, he was not deaf. He immediately turned his head and looked back. In the dense cornfield, There was a rustling sound. He was sure that there was someone inside. Who is it? Don't pretend to be mysterious. Is it a child from some family? Old Master Chen shouted. Just as he was thinking about whether to leave early, an old man walked out. Old man, sure. You almost scared me to death, Old Master Chen said unhappily. Haha, Old Man Chen. I just happened to pass by here and got some venison. Do you want some? Chapter 681. Venison? We don't have venison here. Where did you get it? Grandpa Chen asked curiously. A friend of mine brought it to me. It's meat from hunting. I can't finish it alone. The old man who spoke was already in his 60s. He was a single man who had never married a wife. He had been living alone at the foot of the mountain, which was quite a distance away from the village. Usually he was alone. Many people said that he was strange and refused to interact with others. However, Grandpa sure was living quite well alone. He didn't seem to be short of money. He had been living on his own land, but he could eat meat every day. Many villagers joked that Grandpa sure often had cured meat drying in front of his door. He was also often seen selling meat in the market. What he sold the most was venison. It was said that his distant relatives liked to hunt, and often got him some venison. I can't afford it. Grandpa Chen shook his head and said angrily. Don't be sneaky when you go out in the future. I almost hit you with the hoe in my hand. Do you understand? Hee hee hee. Grandpa sure didn't say anything. He just smiled. Grandpa Chen walked further and further away. As he walked, he realized that something was wrong. Grandpa sure came out of the cornfield just now. Why was he holding meat and covered in blood? What was he doing? Something was wrong. Grandpa Chen wanted to go back and take a look. At this time, the sky was even darker. It was already afternoon. Wang Zhong was a little worried. Grandpa went out to work today. It was supposed to be a small job, but it was almost dinner time. Why wasn't he back yet? After thinking about it, Wang Zhong decided to go out and take a look. Grandpa was old. What if something happened outside? At the same time, Wang Zhong remembered something very important. According to the hint of this mission, Grandpa would tell him a secret before he died. What was this secret? He had to find Grandpa before he died. Wang Zhong ran on the small path in the field. When he passed by a cornfield, Wang Zhong stopped. It was too quiet. Something was wrong. When he passed by the field, there were insects and birds chirping. But this cornfield was very quiet. There must be something wrong. Wang Zhong looked around vigilantly. All of a sudden, he noticed footprints on the ground. He was very familiar with one of them. It was his grandfather's footprint. Some of these footprints were heading towards their own fields, further and further away. However, after walking a short distance, the footprints turned back. Then he stopped at the edge of the cornfield. Grandpa went missing here. Wang Zhong looked into the cornfield and took out the exorcism mushroom from Shen Nong's space. This thing could automatically protect him, so he didn't need to use his qi to circulate his cultivation technique. It was very useful and convenient. He stuffed the evil expelling mushroom into his mouth. Immediately, a gust of qi enveloped his entire body. 1 floor, 2 floors, 3 floors, 4 floors, this exorcism mushroom had 4 layers of protective gas. Wang Zhong had isolated himself from the outside world, but he was still observing his surroundings. Following this, he walked into the cornfield. There was the smell of blood. Wang Zhong's heart clenched. His grandfather was most likely dead. Following the smell of blood, Wang Zhong came to the center of the cornfield. There was a haystack here. The smell of blood came from here. Without saying a word, Wang Zhong dug up the haystack. There was indeed a pit under the haystack. The pit was filled with blood and some bloody clothes. There were quite a few of these clothes. There were men's and women's clothes. In addition, there were some leather bags. Wang Zhong raised his eyebrows. He couldn't help but think of what he had seen in his previous life. In the next few years, there had been a series of mysterious disappearance cases in their village. Many people had gone missing. At first, no one paid attention to it. But soon, someone discovered that these missing people were very regular. They all went missing around 30 days. After the disappearance, although a large number of people were sent to search, they found nothing. This incident had happened many years ago. At that time, when he was 30 years old, someone had calculated that around his place, the number of missing people had reached more than 300. Unfortunately, in his previous life, he was focused on managing his own wealth empire. After that, he went to the city to develop, and didn't pay much attention to the things here. Now it seems that the disappearance of so many people is not a coincidence. Someone deliberately did it. There were so many clothes in front of him. Obviously, they belonged to the victims. After the crime, the culprit buried the clothes here, so he could be sure that this cornfield belonged to whoever committed the crime. Old Sure. A simple and honest image gradually emerged in Wang Zhong's mind. Since the tree played by Bao Bao became popular, someone said that there was a tree in every village, and the tree was a person. If there was a happy occasion in the village, who built a house, who did work, this simple-looking person would come to help. Old Man Sure used to be like this. He was polite, honest. But in the past few years, he lived in seclusion a lot. Wang Zhong remembered that he hadn't seen him for a long time. Some villagers also said that Old Sure now recognized a rich relative. This relative often gave him some venison to sell. So when he was free, Old Sure would bring venison to the market. His business was good. It was said that a venison was almost sold out in about a month. Wang Zhong had an idea. Old Sure. Bang! 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 In an ordinary farmhouse at the foot of the mountain, there was the sound of a kitchen knife chopping bones. This house was located in a remote area, with its back against the mountain. Because there were no cement roads around, there was only one house, and few people came here. This was the place where Old Man Sure lived. Old Sure, let me go. I promise I won't say anything. Old Chen's face was covered in blood. Just before, when he entered the cornfield, he was knocked unconscious by a stick. When he woke up, he was already tied up here. Looking at the wall and some broken bones in the corner, he felt a chill in his heart. He knew what was going on with the recent disappearances. Old Sure did not answer. His arm became much thicker as he chopped the meat. This was no longer the Old Sure of the past. He had already awakened. In fact, it was rare for old people to awaken, but there were exceptions. Finally, Old Sure finished chopping the bones. Then his green eyes looked at Old Chun in the corner. Old Chun was so scared that he almost wet his pants. Sure enough. Sure enough what? Old Sure looked at the kitchen knife in his hand and smiled. You're not a normal person. Well, I don't know what's going on with me. Perhaps it was because he hadn't had a normal conversation with someone for a long time. Old Man Sure really wanted to chat with someone. He continued. Ever since I fell down at home and got injured, I realized that my hands were a little different. They became very strong and could even grow longer. Old Sure slowly reached out his hand and grabbed Old Chun. However, he did not move. Only his arm grew longer. This scene made Old Master Chun extremely shocked. And I also realized that I need to eat more meat to make my arm stronger. But I can't afford meat, so... Creak. Before Old Man Sure could finish his words, the door suddenly opened with an unpleasant squeak. Who is it? Old Sure looked at the door coldly. It was pitch black outside. He snorted and threw Old Chun to the ground. Then he picked up a flashlight and walked quietly to the door. Before he walked out, he heard the sound of something breaking through the air. Swoosh. Old Sure's shoulder was pierced. Swoosh. There's a big hole in his stomach. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Old Sure's expression was indescribable. Soon he was bleeding profusely. So far, he had not even seen the enemy's face. Who is it? Old Sure fell to the ground. Then, he saw that it was a small pea that had hit him. Wang Zhong arrived in front of Old Man Sure. Without even looking at him, he aimed the pea he had prepared in his hand at Old Man Sure's forehead. Swoosh! Dead with one shot. Grandpa! Wang Zhong rushed into the house. Son! Grandson! Grandpa! I'll save you. It's too late. Old Master Chun was seriously injured. His head was bleeding profusely from the kowtow. Grandpa can't accompany you anymore. You have to learn to live alone in the future. Also, I have a secret to tell you. Grandpa! At this moment, Wang Zhong would be lying if he said that he was not sad. He and his grandpa had depended on each other for so many years. Now that his grandpa was dying, He felt especially sad. Grandpa Chen sighed and said reluctantly, "In this world, there might be something unclean. Your parents were killed by that thing. You have to be careful in the future." This was the secret? Wang Zhong was speechless. To the original Chen Anlin, this might be a secret. But to him it was not. After a few more words, old Chen spread out his hands and let go of his foot. He was gone. Grandpa. After that, Wang Zhong left the house. When he got back, Wang Zhong deliberately called the police. The whole village was mobilized to search for him. Finally, someone smelled blood at Old Man Sher's place and called the police. Old Man Sher killed someone, but when the police came, they found that Old Man Sher was already dead. At the same time, they found that something was wrong. Old Man Sher's arm was more than 2 meters long. They immediately reported it to the higher-ups, and the special department took over. Things here were no longer under Wang Zhong's control. This time, killing Old Man Sher gave him more than 1,000 skill points. It seemed that Old Man Sher had done a lot of evil. 7 days later, Wang Zhong finished the funeral for his grandpa. A year later, Wang Zhong faced a big problem. The monsters near the village were almost all killed. He needed to leave this place. In addition, he had spent most of his savings. He did not have much money left. This year, if he was not killing monsters, he was on the road. He did not manage the online shop at all. It seems that I have to put the matter of killing monsters aside for the time being and earn more money first. Wang Zhong decided to leave the village and go to the city to open a fruit shop. Of course, the other reason was that the spirit field could be moved. Chapter 682. Name Chen Anlin. Cultivation 5. Cultivated plants. Spiritual land area. 10 by 10. Transferable, spiritual fruits. Skill points, 2398. Ever since his cultivation had reached level 5, the spiritual land area had expanded quite a bit. Most importantly, the spiritual land could be transferred. This meant that he no longer had to run up the mountain. In the Sheneng dimension, there was now a unique space. This place was his spiritual land. However, there were also disadvantages. The spiritual land could not be stored for long, because it needed to absorb nutrients. There was no nutrition in the Sheneng dimension. It needed sunlight, water and fresh air. During this period, Ma Dongmin had always been his right-hand woman. When he wasn't around, Ma Dongmin took care of the spirit field for him, and she did it with great ease. Today, Wang Zhong packed up a lot of things and was ready to leave. When he passed by Zhou Miaoyu's house, Wang Zhong stopped. In this life, he rejected Zhou Miaoyu. The two of them were destined not to have any contact. However, occasionally, Wang Zhong would think of this stubborn little girl. Zhou Miaoyu should be at school now, right? Wang Zhong thought. In his previous life, Zhou Miaoyu stayed because of him and did not go to school. But in this life, Zhou Miaoyu did not like him. According to the normal trajectory, Zhou Miaoyu should have gone to school. At this moment, Wang Zhong was stunned. He realized that Zhou Miaoyu was actually at the door. Her face was pale, and she was in a bad state. Her eyes were dark, and her mouth kept mumbling something. "Sister, don't be afraid. You're back. Nothing will happen. Don't worry." Zhou Miaoyu's brother, Zhou Miaoqiang, comforted her. However, at this moment, Zhou Miaoyu suddenly grabbed his hand. "He's here. I feel that he's here. He wants to catch me." "Hoo hoo hoo." Zhou Miaoyu cried. "No one will catch you. I'll protect you," Zhou Miaoqiang said in his heart. "What are you guys talking about?" Wang Zhong's heart skipped a beat and he walked over. "Chen Anlin, aren't you leaving?" Zhou Miaoqiang greeted him, and the look in his eyes softened. "Yeah, I was just about to leave and pass by here. Your sister doesn't seem to be in a good mood. Didn't she go to school? Why is she back?" "Sigh." Zhou Miaoqiang sighed. "It's a long story. My sister might be sick." "Brother, what are you talking about? I'm not sick." Zhou Miaoyu suddenly spoke. She was like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. She stood up and roared. "You still don't believe me? Hee hee. I was wondering why you didn't call the police. In the end, you still don't believe me. Sis, don't be like this. Your classmates and teachers are all saying that you. Everyone says I'm crazy, right?" "I knew it." Zhou Miaoyu shook her head in despair. He will come for me. You will only be happy if I die. You. Zhou Miaoqiang sighed, not knowing how to persuade him. Wang Zhong patted Zhou Miaoqiang on the shoulder. Let me say it. I used to be her classmate, so it's easier for me to say it. All right then, I'll go make some tea. Zhou Miaoqiang entered the house. Zhou Miaoyu cried. She was so sad that her eyes were swollen. Zhou Miaoyu, what happened to you? Can you tell me? Maybe I can help you. It's no use. No one believes me. They will only believe me if I die. Zhou Miaoyu's face was dejected. I will die sooner or later, just like Zhang Lili. What's wrong? If you don't tell me, I can't help you. This matter is really strange. It's like this. Zhou Miaoyu began to tell her story. It turned out that ever since she started school, she had been living peacefully in the female dormitory with a few classmates. There was a girl in the dormitory named Zhang Lili who was close to her. The two of them were best friends and talked about everything. One day, when Zhang Lili went home to visit her relatives, she brought back a gold bracelet. She was very mysterious and secretly told Zhou Miaoyu that she had picked it up. Then another day, Zhang Lili picked up a gold necklace. Zhou Miaoyu knew that, and was very happy for Zhang Lili. After all, ordinary people would not be so lucky. Most importantly, the gold necklace that Zhang Lili had picked up looked very simple. The style was a bit like it was from decades ago. Zhang Lili did not care about the style. She said that she would take it to the jewelry shop when she was free and get two more beautiful ones. But gradually, Zhang Lili started to have nightmares. In her dreams, a man wearing the same gold necklace and gold bracelet appeared. He was wearing bright red clothes and looked at her with a smile. You took my things. At first, Zhang Lili did not take it seriously. Until one day, she picked up a gold ring on the road. That day, Zhang Lili was overjoyed. But that night, she had a very strange dream. The man in her dream was even closer to her and said to her, You took my 3 pieces of gold. From now on, you are my wife. I will give you the betrothal gifts in a few days. She had this dream for a few days, and it was exactly the same. The only difference was that the man was closer to her every time. At this time, Zhang Lili panicked and told Zhou Miaoyu everything that had happened in her dream. Zhou Miaoyu also noticed that something was wrong with Zhang Lili. Her mental state had been very poor recently. Her face was pale, her hair was dry, and her expression was listless. It was as if she had not slept for a long time. I really haven't slept for a long time. I am afraid of sleeping. Once I sleep, I can dream of that man approaching me. I feel that he is real. He is real. Zhang Lili shouted incoherently. She even alerted the teachers, but no one believed her. Everyone thought that Zhang Lili had not slept well, and would be fine after a good night's sleep. 7 days later, Zhang Lili came back from the hospital. When she returned to the dormitory, she found a sum of money at the door. The money was neatly stacked. It was all in big bills and looked to be 10,000 yuan. No one would be indifferent when they saw money on the ground. Zhang Lili immediately picked up the money. Zhou Miaoyu also knew about it. Zhang Lili was very happy. She was originally listless because of the nightmares, but she was happy for a while. That night, Zhang Lili even dragged Zhou Miaoyu out for dinner. But when they came back, Zhang Lili suddenly screamed. That was because the stack of money had unknowingly turned into hell money. That night, Zhang Lili was so scared that she had a high fever. Zhou Miaoyu stayed by her side, but she could not take it anymore and fell asleep in the middle of the night. When she woke up, she realized that something was wrong. Zhang Lili was missing. Then, someone found Zhang Lili lying on the ground at the back of the dormitory. She had committed suicide by jumping off the building. Originally, suicide would at most be surprising. There were people committing suicide every day in this day and age, so it was not strange. But what was strange was that Zhang Lili was wearing a bright red dress. She had a gold necklace around her neck, a gold ring on her hand, and a gold bracelet on her hand. She had heavy makeup on her face and round blushes on her cheeks. The strange makeup made her look like a ghost bride in a TV series. Especially her expression. She had a happy smile on her face. It was as if she was married. After that, Zhou Miaoyu was questioned by others. Zhou Miaoyu answered honestly. but she did not know how they investigated. She only knew that after that day, she lived outside the school with another best friend. A month later, an accident happened. She picked up a gold necklace. The design of the gold necklace was simple and looked a little old. She did not think much of it and picked it up. But she regretted it later because not long after, she picked up a gold bracelet. At that moment, she thought of Zhang Lili. Before Zhang Lili went missing, didn't she also pick up a gold necklace and a gold bracelet? She wanted to throw them away immediately. That day, she threw the 2 gold items into the trash can. But that night, she had a nightmare. A man came looking for her fiercely, holding the 2 gold items and shouting, "Since you have already accepted my betrothal gift, why are you throwing it away? You are already mine." Zhou Miaoyu was shocked awake on the spot. When she woke up, the 2 gold items were returned to her bedside. Apart from that, there was a gold ring. She knew that she had met with something unclean. She immediately called the police and told the teachers. But no one believed her. Everyone thought that she was crazy. Do you know? I told my brother and dad about this too, but they didn't believe me. Everyone thought that I was crazy. But only I know that it's true. That man will come looking for me. As she spoke, Zhou Miaoyu could not help but grip Wang Zhong's arm tightly. I don't know what to do. No one believes me. It's only a matter of time before I end up like Zhang Lili and commit suicide. Don't worry. I believe you. Wang Zhong furrowed his brows. He was currently cultivating the blazing sun technique, and his yang energy was incomparably fierce. The moment he came into contact with Zhou Miaoyu, he could feel a wave of yin energy wrapping around her body. Clearly, Zhou Miaoyu was haunted by something unclean. Ding! Mission Xiefu. Xiefu has his eyes on Zhou Miaoyu. Xiefu wants to marry her. Get rid of Xiefu. Mission success will reward 500 technique points. That was quite a lot of technique points. Seemed like this Xiefu was pretty good. If it were a year ago, Wang Zhong might have had to think more about how to solve it. But now it was not worth mentioning. What's the use of believing me? I've already been targeted. I'm going to die soon, Zhou Miaoyu said dejectedly. I can help you. How about this? I'll accompany you when you sleep tonight. Wang Zhong said. Accompany me. Zhou Miaoyu was stunned. Her face flushed red. Why are you helping me? Don't think too much. I just want to help. To prevent Zhou Miaoyu's imagination from running wild, Wang Zhong could only explain. But how are you going to help me? That man will definitely come looking for me in the middle of the night. Come to my house. I'll watch over you. No way. My dad will beat you to death if he finds out. Zhou Miaoyu was speechless at Wang Zhong's suggestion. She wondered if Wang Zhong was taking advantage of her. Chapter 683. How about I crawl into your room in the middle of the night? Wang Zhong felt that this was the only way. After all, it was inappropriate for Zhou Miaoyu to go to his house, so he had to do it himself. Zhou Miaoyu still shook her head. It's not appropriate. Then I'm leaving. What about me? Do you need my help? You, Zhou Miaoyu bit her lips. Although she didn't want to admit it, she could only nod. How are you going to save me? We'll talk about it when the time comes. I'll bring some things from my house. After thinking about it, Wang Zhong took out a cucumber from the suitcase behind him. Here, eat this first. Zhou Miaoyu's face darkened. Why are you giving me a cucumber? Wang Zhong stuffed the cucumber into Zhou Miaoyu's mouth. Just eat it. It's good for you. You, Zhou Miaoyu's mouth was full. She was about to curse when she suddenly froze. Because she suddenly realized that the cucumber tasted pretty good. It was crispy and delicious with a lot of juice. She took a bite, and the juice was all over her mouth. Crunch, crunch. Naturally, Zhou Miaoyu bit into it. That's true. I should eat more and save my energy. That's right. Wang Zhong smiled. He was rich now. He could afford the food that grew in the spiritual land. If Zhou Miaoyu ate this cucumber, she would be able to produce a wave of qi within her body, and her strength would change slightly. Wang Zhong could only do so much now. He would do the rest at night. At night, after eating 2 cucumbers, Zhou Miaoyu found an excuse to go back to the house early. Once back in the house, Zhou Miaoyu quietly opened the window to let Wang Zhong in. You don't have to open it. I'm already in. Wang Zhong's abrupt voice rang out, causing Zhou Miaoyu to almost pee in her pants. Are you going to die? You almost scared me to death. Zhou Miaoyu patted her chest and said with lingering fear. Wang Zhong touched his nose and said, Don't be nervous. I saw that your window was open, so I came in first. As he spoke, he looked at the 3 gold coins on the bedside table. Necklace, gold bracelet, gold ring. These 3 things were necessary for a man and a woman to get married. If the man gave the woman these 3 things, it meant that the engagement was set. If you don't want to get married after accepting it, then you're acting like a hooligan. The designs of these 3 pieces of gold jewelry were a little old-fashioned, and there was a faint fragrance lingering on them. If one didn't smell it carefully, they wouldn't be able to smell it. You rest. I'll guard the cupboard. Zhou Miaoyu nodded and lay on the bed alone. Time ticked by, but Wang Zhong remained clear-headed. At this time, Zhou Miaoyu was already resting. She was sleeping very deeply. This was not her intention. Wang Zhong guessed that it was because Xie Fu had come over. It was pitch black inside the house, and he couldn't even see his own fingers. All of a sudden, a pale hand reached out from the window. He's here, he's here. Wang Zhong narrowed his eyes. Then, a figure wearing a red ancient bridegroom's robe appeared at the window. He did not open the window. Instead, he went through the window and floated into the house. Huff, huff. He exhaled a breath of cold air. Then an ear-piercing sound of metal scraping came from his mouth. Wife, I'm here. Wang Zhong could tell. This so-called Xie Fu was probably someone from a poor family who couldn't afford a wife. After his death, he couldn't get rid of his obsession, so he kept looking for a wife. When a girl was targeted by him, he would give her 3 pieces of gold. These 3 pieces of gold were actually attached with his energy, allowing him to follow the girl. No matter how far the girl went, he could follow her closely. He knew this because he had planted some books a few days ago. For example, the Classic of Mountains and Seas, the Jade Emperor's Note, the Records of Strange Monsters, and Hell's Travels. After these books matured in the spiritual land, the fruits they bore were all eaten. Now he had a lot of information about evil creatures in his head. These Xie Fu were actually not very strong evil creatures, but the one in front of him was obviously quite old. As the saying goes, the older the wiser. No matter how weak this Xie Fu was, he must have some tricks up his sleeve after existing for so long. Creak. The cabinet opened. Wang Zhong walked out and said indifferently, You're finally here. There's actually someone here. A sinister voice sounded. Then, Xie Fu looked at Wang Zhong with a cold gaze. Today is my big day. I allow you to drink my wedding wine. As soon as he finished, Xie Fu stretched out his hand, and a table of dishes appeared in front of Wang Zhong. There were chicken, duck, fish, and a few stir-fried dishes. There was even a bowl of wine placed near Wang Zhong. Drink up, Xie Fu said indifferently. If an ordinary person were to look at this table full of delicious dishes, their appetite would definitely be aroused and they would be attracted to it. But in Wang Zhong's eyes, what was in front of him was not food. This bowl was clearly a pile of maggots and cockroaches, especially the bowl of wine in front of him, which was filled with black blood. With a cold snort, Wang Zhong took out the exorcism mushroom. In an instant, the illusion in front of him shattered, and the exorcism mushroom quickly withered, turning into a dry mushroom. Looks like you're not an ordinary person. Xie Fu finally saw Wang Zhong's extraordinariness. Since you don't want to drink my wedding wine, then forget it. Today is my day of celebration. I don't want to kill. Get lost immediately. As he spoke, resentment surged behind Xie Fu. The smell of blood was extremely thick. Behind him, blood watermarks appeared one after another, as if they could grab Wang Zhong at any time. This Xie Fu had lived for so long. Resentment had long taken over his heart. He wanted to find a wife. Anyone who dared to block his path had to die. Wang Zhong smiled and took out a string of strengthened safety talismans. He instantly threw it at Xie Fu. You dare to show off your meager skills in front of an expert. Xie Fu easily swept the safety talisman away. Instantly, the safety talisman fell to the ground and turned into a pile of ashes. This Xiefu was indeed powerful. The safety talisman did not have much effect on him. Wang Zhong did not plan to use the safety talisman to deal with him, but it could break Xiefu's domain to a certain extent. When evil beings reached a certain level, they would create a domain around them. Within this domain, they would be very powerful and their defense would be very strong. Now that a portion of the domain had been cleared, Wang Zhong moved forward. Yang Qi rolled around his body, and the temperature in the room suddenly rose. Xiefu felt the temperature rise, which made him very unhappy. Then the bloody handprints behind him slapped at Wang Zhong. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. After attacking dozens of bloody handprints, Wang Zhong's expression changed. He suddenly took out a mahogany staff. Mahogany staff, an exorcism instrument made of mahogany. This was a piece of wood that Wang Zhong cut off from a peach tree he had planted some time ago, because according to his previous experience, mahogany could restrain evil beings. It was said that when mahogany hit an evil being, it could hit the soul. That was the pain of having one's soul torn apart. In the past, many villagers in the village would cut off a small piece of mahogany and place it at their door to ward off evil. Wang Zhong stepped forward and smashed the mahogany staff at the bloody handprints. Bam bam bam. Xiefu, who had been incomparably ferocious just a moment ago, was now somewhat terrified. You killed so many girls to satisfy your selfish desires. You deserve to die. Today, I will send you on your way so that you won't hurt anyone else. What do you know? Why do other people have wives and I don't? I don't accept this. Xiefu shouted, but he didn't dare to fight Wang Zhong. He turned around and wanted to leave. But just as he reached the door, a mahogany staff came at him from the window. Xiefu was knocked back. Only then did he realize that there was another person at the window. It was Ma Dongmin, who Wang Zhong had planted. To prevent Xiefu from escaping, Wang Zhong had Ma Dongmin stand guard outside and attack him from both sides. You're not human. Xiefu's eyes narrowed. He could tell that Ma Dongmin was not normal. Go to hell. Ma Dongmin raised his mahogany staff again. Wang Zhong also attacked from both sides. After several blows, Xiefu was beaten until he screamed. The soul power in his body was shattered. His cold and cruel eyes were filled with fear. Spare me, spare me. I just want to marry a wife. Look at how pitiful I am. Let me go. Let me go. Xiefu started to beg for mercy, but Wang Zhong was unmoved. He snorted and said, Have you ever thought about those girls you killed? I was wrong. I was really wrong. Let me ask you, where are those girls now? Hearing this, Xiefu's eyes turned evasive. Still not speaking. Wang Zhong didn't hold back as he smashed his rod down again. Xiefu was in pain. He quickly shouted, They are in my stomach. In order to live, he spat out a mouthful of black gas. Several black figures appeared. These black figures all looked like little girls. One of the girls saw the unconscious Zhou Miaoyu and immediately cried, Zhou Miaoyu woo. Her tears fell to the ground and turned into ashes. Where are their hands and feet? Wang Zhong was furious. These evil beings in front of him did not have hands or feet. He suddenly thought of the bloody handprints from before. It turned out that those bloody handprints came from these girls. I was afraid that my wives would run away, so I took their hands and feet. Before he finished, bang! Ma Dongmin hit him with the stick. You dog, you deserve to die. Wang Zhong sighed. The deaths of these little girls were too pitiful. Get rid of him. Wang Zhong naturally would not let this evil man go. Ma Dongmin hit him crazily. Bang 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 bang. Xiefu was beaten until he cried out. In the end, only a small ball was left. Wang Zhong's yang energy turned into a fist and easily blew Xiefu's soul away. After the matter was settled, Wang Zhong said to Ma Dongmin, It's settled. You can go down first. We will leave later. Okay. After Ma Dongmin left, Wang Zhong glanced at Zhou Miaoyu who was on the bed. After thinking for a while, he threw a few cucumbers on the bed and left. Driving his own business car, it was almost dawn when he arrived at the city. At this time, Wang Zhong received a call from Zhou Miaoyu. When did you leave? What do you mean by leaving a few cucumbers for me? Zhou Miaoyu asked. Chapter 684. After dealing with that dirty thing, of course I have to leave. Do you think I'll stay at your place overnight? Zhou Miaoyu choked for a moment, thinking that what Wang Zhong said actually made sense. Then you should at least say hello. Besides, you left a few cucumbers. Why are these cucumbers different from the ones I usually use? Aren't they too big? Big ones are good. They're nutritious. You'll know once you eat them, Wang Zhong said casually. He secretly thought that if Zhou Miaoyu ate so many cucumbers, there would be a certain chance that she would become stronger in the future. This could also be considered as a gift for her. However, after today, he and Zhou Miaoyu might not meet again. When he arrived in the city, the sky was not yet bright, but there were already many cars on the main road. These were all office workers. Although the world had changed greatly, there were not many places where it happened, and most of them were still unknown. Wang Zhong came to a newly opened residential area. This was a new city area. In the next few years, there would be many strange things happening around this new city area, so Wang Zhong chose this place. At the same time, the shop he rented was not bad. He had browsed many places on the internet before and finally chose this place. There were 2 rooms in front of this shop, which added up to about 80 square meters. Behind it was a courtyard, which was separated from the shop next door by a wall. Because the courtyard at the back was quite large and surrounded by walls, it was just right to place the spiritual field. The rent was 130,000 yuan a year. To be honest, such a large area was not expensive. The main thing was that this was a new city area, and there were not many people here. Next door was a landscaping company that planted flowers and plants. Just like Wang Zhong, he could plant plants in the back. Next to it was a restaurant, a noodle shop, an electric car repair shop, and so on. After renting it, Wang Zhong summoned the spiritual field behind the shop at night. For a moment, the small courtyard was filled with a fragrant smell. There were fruits that had ripened. At present, Wang Zhong's spiritual field was divided into 3 areas. More than half of it was planted with ordinary fruits. For example, oranges, bananas, apples, pears. The advantage of growing plants on spiritual fields was that they didn't have to worry about the change of weather as long as there was enough nutrition. Wang Zhong sold the fruits that grew from more than half of the plantation area. Wang Zhong believed that over time, after eating his fruits, many people would find that the more they ate, the stronger they became. His business would definitely be good in the future. For the remaining half of the planting area, Wang Zhong planted the seeds that he had redeemed from the shop. For example, corn, cucumbers, bomb potatoes, pea bullets, and so on. The last half was for his experiments. For example, he recently planted a toy pistol. He really wanted to see what would grow out of the buried toy gun. It would be best if he could grow a real gun. Then everything would be much more convenient. Ma Dongmin, the shelves have been brought in today. Take the fruit basket over there and place it properly, Wang Zhong instructed. Now, Ma Dongmin was a very good helper for him. Wang Zhong expressed that it was very convenient to use him, and also very cool. He didn't have to do everything himself every day. He could just let her do it. Sure, big brother Chen. Ma Dongmin drank a mouthful of happy water, and happily went to work. Wang Zhong, on the other hand, was looking at a plastic tree that had grown out from under his feet. This tree had been growing for a few days. The seed at the bottom was a toy pistol. Exchange for happy fertilizer. After exchanging for another pack of happy fertilizer, Wang Zhong evenly sprinkled it on the toy pistol. This plant had been planted for many days. On the forked branches, the pistol-shaped fruits were ripening. Wang Zhong touched one of the small and exquisite pistils, and sighed in his heart. It looked really realistic. Beside the pistils, there were a few strange-shaped trees. 2 of them were cultivation technique trees. The cultivation techniques were the evil vanquishing palm and the 7 injured legs. These 2 cultivation techniques had already ripened. The white paper hung heavily on the trees and swayed slowly. Wang Zhong took a piece of paper and bit it. It didn't taste as good as the blazing sun technique. This was normal. After a year of planting in the spiritual field, Wang Zhong knew that the higher the level of the fruit, the better the taste. What he had just eaten was the 7 injured legs cultivation technique. Obviously, it didn't taste as good. After eating the 7 injured legs cultivation technique, He ate the evil vanquishing palm. Wang Zhong was still looking forward to the evil vanquishing palm cultivation technique. Because this tree had been growing for a long time. According to the rules, the longer it grew, the stronger the effect. Look, he hadn't eaten the fruits of the evil vanquishing palm cultivation technique yet. The fragrance overflowed, and the juice of the thick paper was about to spurt out. Wang Zhong bit into a piece of paper, causing a rich fragrance to assail his nose. It's so delicious. When he had eaten the blazing sun technique, it didn't taste so good. However, the evil vanquishing palm cultivation technique left a lasting aftertaste in Wang Zhong's mouth. I dare to bet 50 cents that this evil vanquishing palm cultivation technique is amazing. Wang Zhong was in a good mood. He ate a lot faster. On the other side, the tree with several pistils grew a lot faster after being sprinkled with happy fertilizer. Seeing the tree grow taller and taller, a faint smell of feces drifted out. Wang Zhong's expression became strange. Why did the pistils smell so strange? Big brother Chun, did you cook feces in the microwave? Ma Dongmin, who was packing outside, walked in quietly. He had to admit that Ma Dongmin's nose was much sharper now. Wang Zhong said unhappily. Do you think I would do something so stupid? That's true. Ma Dongmin stuck out her tongue and walked out. After a while, she came back in and reminded, Big brother Chen, feces don't taste good. Wang Zhong. You think I don't know? Oh, I'm going to work. Wang Zhong shook his head. After spending so much time with Ma Dongmin, this girl was getting bolder and bolder. If it wasn't for the fact that she died so miserably, would he be so polite? I'm still a good person. I took in this pitiful girl in her early 20s. After receiving the message that the pistol tree had matured, Wang Zhong picked up a gun. Paper gun. A small pistol made of plastic. Useless. P.S. It can be used as a toy. Wang Zhong's face darkened. No wonder the smell was so bad. It turned out that the things planted were trash. He had to admit that he was disappointed. Without hesitation, he took off the pistols and threw them into the trash can. After packing them, he asked Ma Dongmin to throw them out, so that the house wouldn't be filled with the smell of feces. It seems that not everything planted in the spiritual field is good. The next day, Wang Zhong's fruit shop opened. Wang Zhong's fruit shop had several advantages. First, it was self-produced and self-marketed. It sold all the fruits grown in his spiritual field. Second, it had high production. For example, if the oranges were sold out, no problem, he could quickly water them with happy water and fertilize them to ripen them. Third, the quality of the fruits was high. Wang Zhong had eaten ordinary fruits grown in spiritual fields before. Not only were they delicious, but they could also ensure a person's strength for a day. The nutritional value was very high. There was no doubt that if he ate them for a long time, women would be able to delay menopause, and men would be full of vigor, even at 90 years old. If the awakened ones ate them, it would be even more amazing. Under a subtle influence, their strength would increase a lot. Fourth, it had a long shelf life. Ordinary fruits could be stored for a week, but his fruits could be stored for more than a month. Fifth, it looked very good. As everyone knew, people who bought fruits these days also looked at the appearance. The better the appearance, the better the sales. His fruits looked very good. Not only were they bright in color, but they were also very large. Because of the different nutritional value, he certainly wouldn't sell them as ordinary fruits. Wang Zhong was going to sell them one by one, because he was too lazy to weigh them. Apples, oranges, pears, and fruits of similar size were temporarily priced at 30 yuan each. This price was actually set by Ma Dongmin. Originally, Wang Zhong wanted to sell it cheaper, but Ma Dongmin said that the positioning of their fruit shop was high-end. Not only was the nutritional value high, but the key was that the size of the fruit was at least twice as big as the same kind. The style also looked exactly the same. So in Ma Dongmin's words, 30 yuan each was already the lowest price. In the future, when there were more customers, the price would increase. Okay. Wang Zhong listened and felt that Ma Dongmin was indeed a college student. She was still good at doing business. However, because Ma Dongmin was abducted to be a fool's wife, this experience made her a lot more sensitive. Except for Wang Zhong, she looked at everyone as a bad person. The opening of the new store naturally attracted the neighbors to come and take a look. There weren't many things in the store. Apples, oranges, watermelons, and other fruits were neatly placed and spotless. However, this fruit shop was very different from others. Other fruit shops put one kind of fruit in one frame and another in another. Here, they were all placed separately on exquisite shelves. Especially the name of this fruit shop, it was called Strange Fruit Shop. The billboard also said that the main products here were exquisite fruits with high nutritional value. In order to attract people to come in, it also specifically said that the fruits here were organic, non-GMO grafted, super nutritious, tender and juicy fruits. So many adjectives. Will anyone believe it? After seeing the advertisement that Ma Dongmin asked the advertising store to do, Wang Zhong muttered. The important thing is not that people believe it, but that they can come in. Didn't I organize a food tasting event? Ma Dongmin took out a fruit plate with some watermelon, pear, and apple pulp cut on it. After eating, I believe people will come. Ma Dongmin smiled. Okay, I'll leave it to you. Wang Zhong was relieved. Ma Dongmin was still the capable one. Come, we are all neighbors. Let's eat together. Ma Dongmin took the fruit and went out to curry favor. Although they were puzzled by this store selling such expensive fruits, since there was free food, everyone was not polite. The neighbors came one by one to chat. As Wang Zhong guessed, these people ate a few pieces of fruit and their eyes lit up. This is my best fruit. This is too delicious. Wow, this fruit is so fragrant. Ma Dongmin looked at them with a smile, waiting for business to come. Unfortunately, the conditions of these neighbors were average, and not many people bought. In the afternoon, a hooded man walked in. Ma Dongmin's eyes lit up. Welcome, what do you want? Chapter 685. Ma Dongmin's attitude was very good. After all, this was the only customer who came in and didn't leave after seeing the price. Why are these fruits so expensive? The hooded man frowned. Because they're nutritious. You'll definitely like them. Ma Dongmin smiled. The man touched his stomach. Money isn't a problem, but is it really useful? He was a little hesitant. As a special awakened, he wasn't short of money, but he lacked energy. His awakened ability was speed, and he needed a lot of energy every day. Previously, he relied on eating and vegetables, but the energy consumption still couldn't keep up with the speed of his eating. Therefore, he wanted to try a few fruits. Organic green non-GMO grafted super nutritious, tender and juicy fruits. The hooded man frowned. He felt that things weren't simple. I've never heard of such fruits before. The man was obviously smart and wasn't fooled. The name isn't important. What's important is that it's nutritious. You can buy some and try it, Ma Dongmin said expectantly. After working for Wang Zhong for so long, she was eager to do something for Wang Zhong. However, Wang Zhong never touched her, so she could only do something else. Let me see. The hooded man picked up a 30 yuan apple. I'll buy 2 first. If they're good, I'll come back. If not, then forget it. Like a thief, he paid 60 yuan, picked up 2 good-sized apples, turned around and left. Thank you for coming. After receiving the money, Ma Dongmin was overjoyed. This was money. This smell was so good. As soon as the hooded man left, he started to walk faster. The reason why he was so vigilant was that he had provoked a group of enemies. He was originally an employee of a company. Last year, when he saw the company's female CEO being robbed after work, he stepped forward bravely. Who would have thought that he would be stabbed 13 times in a row, and blood would be seen on every blade? He didn't expect that he would awaken by accident. His awakened ability was speed. Whether it was walking, hand speed, or speaking speed, anything related to speed was awesome. Because he saved the female CEO, he also gained the favor of the female CEO. Naturally, the two of them. But because of this, he offended a rich second-generation heir who liked the female CEO. This rich second generation also had some tricks up his sleeves to hire an assassin. A few days ago, the hooded man had fought dozens of rounds with dozens of assassins in the suburbs. Although he had won, he had also suffered some injuries. He had been eating at home for the past few days, but his wounds were healing very slowly. Especially today, he found that someone was actually observing him from outside. This made him turn pale with fright, so he went downstairs. Originally, he planned to buy some food to go home, but when he passed by this strange and exotic fruit shop, he was attracted by the fragrance inside. Thus, he accidentally bought 2 big apples back. On the way, he also carried a bag of rice, 2 roast chickens and 3 roast ducks. Bang! When he placed the rice at home, he suddenly frowned. There was someone at home. Because there was a strange sound in the kitchen, he hurried over, and to his relief, there was a graceful figure inside. It was the beautiful President Zhu Liqian. Qian. Feng Tong walked over. Little Feng. Zhu Liqian came over and said, I brought you some food. Eat it and leave. I've received news that Wang Fu has hired a few more assassins. They're coming. Is that so? Damn it, he actually hired so many assassins. Feng Tong was helpless. He had thought of calling the police, but it was useless. Because if the police came, the group of assassins would not appear. Instead, the police would say that he had made a false report, which was very troublesome. You went out to buy food just now too? Zhu Liqian knew about Feng Tong's situation, so she would send food every day. Yes, I'm so hungry that I can't stand it. What should we do? Don't worry, I'll eat something good. But I'm not going to leave. Feng Tong shook his head, took a bite of the apple and continued. When I'm better, I'll get rid of Wang Fu. What but? No buts. Are we going to be a fugitive for the rest of our lives? Feng Tong smiled bitterly and said, In the past, I didn't have the ability, so I admitted defeat. But now that I'm an awakened, how can I admit defeat? Zhu Liqian, I'll take care of you in the future. Little Feng. Qian. The two of them looked at each other tenderly, and the atmosphere gradually became tense. 10 seconds later, Feng Tong pulled up his pants. So fast, Zhu Liqian said gently, in the world of martial arts, only speed is invincible. Feng Tong smiled. It seemed that 10 seconds had passed, but in fact under his speed, he had already done it 3 times. At this time, Feng Tong suddenly felt that something was wrong. This was because he realized that his injuries were slowly healing, and he only ate an apple, but he was already half full. What's wrong? Zhu Liqian asked. No, nothing. I just feel that something is wrong with my body. What's wrong? Zhu Liqian asked anxiously. She thought that something was wrong with Feng Tong's body. Is there something wrong? Let's go to the hospital. No, I just feel that something is wrong with my body, and it feels very good. Feng Tong said in surprise. Very good. Yes. Feng Tong unbuttoned his shirt, revealing his strong arms. Zhu Liqian blushed and said, It's so dangerous. What else do you want to do? Feng Tong. I'm taking a look at your wound. With that, he untied the bandage on his shoulder. The wound that was originally deep enough to see the bone had almost healed, leaving only a small wound. What's going on? Did you eat something? Feng Tong subconsciously looked at the apple in his hand and said, I think I ate this. Hiss. Zhu Liqian took a deep breath and felt terrified. This apple is so magical. This doesn't seem to be an ordinary apple. This is an organic, non-GMO grafted super nutritious, tender, and juicy fruit. Feng Tong had a good memory. He could still remember such a long vocabulary. Sounds good. Just as Zhu Liqian finished speaking. Knock, knock, knock. There was a knock on the door. Who is it? Feng Tong asked coldly. His parents died when he was young. He was alone, and had no one to rely on. Other than Zhu Liqian, no one usually came to his place. Reading the water meter. The water meter is in the corridor outside. See for yourself. After a while, there was another knock on the door. Who is it? Warmth from the community. I don't need warmth. Fellow townsmen, we're really sending warmth. We won't take a needle or a thread. No need. That's good. Bang. The next moment, the door was kicked open and 2 burly men walked in. They both had silenced pistols in their hands and aimed at Feng Tong as soon as they came in. At this moment, Feng Tong had already hidden Zhu Liqian in the cupboard. Feng Tong was alone in the room. The 2 men entered the room and sneered. Dang, caught you. The man on the right sneered, but he didn't shoot immediately. Instead, he faintly said, "The boss said that he wants to see you kneel on the ground and beg for mercy. I'll give you a quick death if you cooperate." Chapter 686. Oh, could it be that you guys really think you can deal with me? Feng Tong felt that he had recovered a lot of his strength. He calmed down and took another bite of the apple. "Cut the crap. Hurry up and kneel. Otherwise, don't hang up on me." The other burly man wasn't so easy to talk to. His expression was so stern that it was scary. Feng Tong shrugged. "I bet you have no bullets in your gun." What? The two burly men were furious. This was a naked provocation. How could he do this? Courting death. The two fired at the same time. "Face Gale." Feng Tong snorted. After eating the apple, he felt that his body was filled with strength. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. His speed suddenly increased. The bullets seemed to be purposely going around him. He dodged all of them. Gotcha. He rushed in front of the two men and easily crushed their necks. After that, he looked at his hands in disbelief. "This is the strength the fruit gave me. It's actually so strong." A week passed. The business in the store was lukewarm. Although some fruits were sold, most of the customers were like Dahai. Not many of them took the initiative to come over. "Sai, what should I do?" Ma Dongmin sat in front of the counter and rested his chin on his hand. "Could it be that my sales method is wrong? Don't be anxious. By the fruit's back. They will have to eat them slowly. As they eat, won't they notice the difference?" Seeing how anxious Ma Dongmin was, Wang Zhong comforted him. After saying that, Wang Zhong felt a little emotional. He wasn't anxious about business, but Ma Dongmin was more anxious than him. What a good employee. As they were talking, Feng Tong walked in with big strides. He looked at the apples on the shelf with excitement. "These. I'll buy all these. It's here." Wang Zhong gestured at Ma Dongmin. Ma Dongmin quickly went over. "You want all of them?" "That's right. This apple, I want all of them." Feng Tong was very excited. Ever since he ate the apple, he erupted with sufficient strength. After finishing off his opponent, he took advantage of the night to go to the rich second generation, and finished him off. Now he was together with the beautiful CEO. However, this was not enough. He wanted to become stronger. Thus he had been eating fruits from other families, but the taste was not right, and it could not provide him with such strong strength. That was why he came over today. After buying all the apples under Ma Dongmin's suggestion, he also bought some oranges, watermelons and other fruits before returning home happily. Wang Zhong yawned. It seemed like his business had opened up. A month later, the fruit shop's business was getting better and better. More and more people came to buy fruits. Half a year later, many of the awakened ones in the vicinity knew that the fruits here had miraculous effects on them. They could replenish their strength, and even increase their strength. On this day, Wang Zhong went to a Taoist temple. Everyone said that this place was very spiritual, and had a lot of incense. Wang Zhong bought a bronze sword, a peachwood sword, and various other small tools. When he returned, he buried all these little things in the spirit field. "Grow up quickly." Wang Zhong sighed with emotion as he looked at the little seedling that had grown. He sprinkled some happy fertilizer on it. "Boss, let's exchange for some happy fertilizer." Ma Dongmin, who was working outside, ran in. "What's wrong?" Wang Zhong was puzzled. "Didn't I just give you 5 packs not long ago?" "The shop's business is too good. They're all sold out," Ma Dongmin said helplessly. "That won't do. I'm all out." Wang Zhong was helpless. These days, he had been planting strange things or practicing martial arts. He really did not have many technical points left. "Brother Chen, give me some. Everyone wants a lot of apples. I'll just plant some." "Really, not even a bit left." "Sigh. Forget it. I'll go get some technical points later." This time, Wang Zhong went to the underground garage of a building. Not long ago, the news said that there were several cases of people being decapitated in the underground garage. The place had been sealed off today. As soon as he arrived at the entrance of the building, Wang Zhong received a mission message. Mission: Headless Ghost. Headless Ghost has killed many people and caused a huge panic. Get rid of him. Mission completion reward, 500 technical points. There were quite a lot of technical points. It also proved that Headless Ghost was quite strong. Now that the front and back of the building were sealed off, Wang Zhong took advantage of the night when there was no one around and entered the building. After finding the entrance to the underground garage, he climbed over the barrier and walked in. This place had been marked as a danger zone, warning people not to approach. Of course, Wang Zhong ignored these warnings and walked down. As soon as he went down, he frowned, because in front of him, he smelt perfume. Someone came in before me. This surprised Wang Zhong. He wanted to go and take a look. Wang Zhong quietly went over. The smell of perfume was very obvious. After 2 turns, Wang Zhong became more and more vigilant. Because the deeper he went, the stronger the smell of blood hit his face. Just then, the sound of a sword being unsheathed came from inside. Kacha, kacha, kacha. A gloomy voice came. You're looking for me? Wang Zhong stealthily looked over. In the darkness, he saw a person lying on all fours on the ground, looking like an alien species. His head was covered in blood and grime. As he spoke, his head actually rolled in circles. If one looked carefully, there were traces of black stitches on her neck. This was Headless Ghost. And standing in front of Headless Ghost was a woman in jeans and holding a long sword. I'm here to look for you. The woman looked quite powerful. As she spoke, she began to chant an incantation. Ha ha ha, you're still too inexperienced. Headless Ghost laughed wildly. Then, one after another, headless people appeared behind him and pounced on the woman. My servants, go over and tear her apart. Headless Ghost laughed crazily. This scene was enough to scare an ordinary person. However, the woman holding the long sword in front of him did not change her expression. She snorted. These are the vengeful spirits of the people you killed. You're really vicious. You imprisoned them here to enslave them. Meddlesome thing, you'll be next. Countless headless people grabbed at the woman. The woman waved her long sword and fought with the headless people who rushed over. For a moment, they were evenly matched. This woman is quite powerful. Wang Zhong knew that he had encountered an awakened one. However, he did not know what type of awakened one this woman belonged to. Soon several headless people were dealt with. However, Headless Ghost did not seem to be in a hurry. She snorted coldly, and resentment suddenly surged behind her. The massive amount of resentment turned into a heavy truck, which charged toward Wang Zhong in a frenzy. Give me your life. Resentment materialization. The woman's expression changed. You've reached the level of resentment materialization. Chapter 687. In this place, evil beings were also divided into different levels. According to Wang Zhong's understanding, the normal ones were ghosts, then evil beings, then evil spirits, then evil spirits. The manifestation of resentment was a sign that evil beings had reached the level of evil spirits. Evil spirits were very difficult to deal with. This woman obviously didn't expect to encounter an evil spirit when she came here. Bang! The large truck formed by resentment hit her and sent her flying. She then smashed into the wall and fell to the ground. Puff! Blood spurted out. So strong, ha ha ha. The headless man laughed wildly, his resentment soaring to the sky. I was crushed to death by the truck. My head was sent flying. But did you know? I didn't die at that time. My head rolled on the ground a few times. Looking at the big truck that hit me, I remembered it. I remembered the truck. So that's why your resentment manifested so quickly. The woman said in annoyance. She knew that she had miscalculated this time. Then she spat out another mouthful of blood. Her eyes gradually became blurry. She lost her strength and fell to the ground. It's over, it's over. The woman was very anxious. She knew that she was finished. Run over by the truck, go to hell. The headless man roared, and the truck rushed towards the woman. Ding! Mission. The girl that the headless man is about to kill. Choice 1. Rush out and shout to the girl, I will save you. And then block the attack for the girl. Reward, 200 technical points. Choice 2. Rush out and coldly attack the headless man. Reward, 800 technical points. Is there a need to choose? Only children choose, I want both. In order to not let people see his true face, Wang Zhong had already prepared a black hood. Then he rushed out and shouted to the girl, "I will save you." The tall and mighty body stood in front of the girl. The girl was disappointed. Why did someone suddenly appear? Did he come to save me? Why is he dressed like a terrorist? Where did this brat come from, wanting to be a hero to save the beauty? Ha ha ha. You overestimate yourself. The headless man laughed arrogantly. But soon he couldn't laugh anymore. The huge truck crashed into Wang Zhong's body and shattered into pieces. A few of the tires rolled out and disappeared into nothingness. Her strongest move was actually so weak that it couldn't even withstand a single blow. The eyes of the girl on the ground lit up. She knew that she was saved. Maybe I can let this guy join her family and add another fighting force to her family. The girl's mind became active. At this time, the headless man turned around and left. Wang Zhong's eyes were cold. He rushed over and smashed down with the peach wood stick in his hand. Bang! Bang! Ah! After a few hits, the severed head cried out in pain. The pain in her soul prevented her from running away, and she immediately begged for mercy. Wang Zhong didn't care at all, and directly smashed the broken head man to death. Following the death of the broken head man, the air in this place became much better, and the atmosphere was no longer so gloomy and terrifying. At the same time, 2 quests appeared in front of Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong had received 2 quest prompts. After completing both choices, he actually earned 1,000 skill points. Thank you, sir. Chao Ailing covered her stuffy chest and gasped for breath. Wang Zhong nodded silently. Just as he was about to leave, he received another quest prompt. Ding! Quest, the injured Chao Ailing. The girl in front of you is injured. You have to help her as much as possible. Choice 1. You take out the big cucumber and say that this big cucumber of mine has a magical effect. I see that you're a fated person, so I'll give it to you. Goodbye. Quest completion reward, 300 skill points. Choice 2. You take out the big cucumber and indifferently stuff it into her mouth. You're worried that she won't eat it, so you even pounded it a few times. Quest completion reward, 400 skill points. Was there still a need to choose? I Wang Zhong want both. Of course, Wang Zhong cared about his face, but who asked him to cover his face now? As the saying goes, shameless people are invincible. There was nothing to worry about at this time. Without saying a word, he walked in front of Chao Ailing. Chao Ailing looked at Wang Zhong excitedly. Thank you. You're welcome. After saying that, Wang Zhong took out the big cucumber and stuffed it into Chao Ailing's mouth. He even pounded it a few times. Poor Chao Ailing was too weak now. She couldn't resist at all. She could only passively whine a few times. Crack! The cucumber finally broke. Only then did Wang Zhong say, "This big cucumber of mine has a magical effect. I see that you're a fated person, so I'll give it to you. Goodbye." After saying that, he left suavely. What? Chao Ailing frowned, feeling very speechless. But soon, after the rich juice of the cucumber flowed down her throat, she was stunned. The originally stuffy chest was actually relieved. The energy that was originally consumed was also slowly recovering. Although it was slow, this recovery was real. Crunch, crunch. Subconsciously, after chewing the cucumber and swallowing it, she couldn't help but moan. So comfortable. She realized that the cultivation that had been trapped in her body had actually advanced. Her strength had increased by a level. This cucumber, why is it so comfortable? Chao Ailing's eyes lit up. I must find this man. With the help of his cucumber, my Chao family will definitely be able to reach a higher level. In Chao Ailing's mind, Wang Zhong was definitely an awakened person who had exploded with opportunities. He had extremely strong strength and must have found a way to mass-produce those bizarre cucumbers. Otherwise, how could such a precious cucumber be stuffed into her mouth just like that? Thinking of this, Chao Ailing's pretty face turned red. Was the posture just now very indecent? Thinking of this, she quickly shook her head and shook off the unhealthy thoughts in her mind. Crunch! While chewing the cucumber, she lamented to herself. Chao Ailing, how can you think of that mister like that? That mister looks like a brave and resourceful person. He directly stuffed it into my mouth. Isn't this because I'm injured and my hand is inconvenient? This mister's mind is really meticulous. He even helped me think of this point. Feeling that she had recovered some strength, Chow Ailing got up and left. That night, Wang Zhong had been farming outside and earned more than 5,000 technical points in one night. The next news attracted Wang Zhong's attention. 3 days later, the news headlines said that the price of cucumbers in the city had increased mysteriously and were bought by a rich person. The person who bought the cucumbers was a large financial group called Chow's Group. Some people said that they were doing this to fry the cucumbers. It was like in the past, some people would fry garlic and some people would fry onions. However, only the higher-ups of Chow's Group knew that they were buying the cucumbers on the market to find a special kind of cucumber. Blurg. In the Chow family's basement, Chow Ailing looked at the cucumber that had just been bought and couldn't help but vomit. These days, in order to find Wang Zhong's special cucumber, she had eaten all the cucumbers in the major supermarkets, markets, and even privately grown cucumbers. Wang Zhong didn't notice that special cucumber, but she had eaten so much that she wanted to vomit whenever she saw it. No, this is all wrong. Chow Ailing looked at the cucumbers in front of her in disgust. Take them all away. I want to vomit whenever I see cucumbers. Chow Ailing's elders sighed. They felt sorry for Chow Ailing, but they had searched all the cucumbers on the market. Why couldn't they find a cucumber that could restore one's strength? The price of cucumbers on the market has increased tremendously. The purchase of the cucumbers will be put on hold for now to avoid attracting attention. In the end, Chow Ailing's father decided not to look for cucumbers for the time being. Chow Ailing didn't dare to disobey her father's words, but she also had a little plan in her heart. She thought that since the mysterious man appeared in the building so late that night, it meant that he should be living nearby. Then she would start investigating from there. In the blink of an eye, it was the end of the year again. On this day, Wang Zhong received a call from Zhou Miaoyu. Ever since Wang Zhong had dealt with the evil husband on Zhou Miaoyu's body, Zhou Miaoyu had been indirectly asking Wang Zhong where he had gone. In order not to let Zhou Miaoyu fall in love with him, and to let Zhou Miaoyu finish her studies, Wang Zhong didn't tell her. Now that it was the end of the year, Zhou Miaoyu contacted him again to ask if he was going back. She wanted to treat him to a meal. Sigh, seems like she has fallen for me again. My darn charm. Wang Zhong was speechless. He could only reject her and say that he wasn't going back. Ah, you're not coming back? Zhou Miaoyu was very disappointed. She sounded like she was about to cry. Why aren't you coming back? Are you avoiding me on purpose? Not at all. I just want to earn money. All right then. After I graduate, can I look for a job at your place? Sure. I can only blame myself for being too soft-hearted. Wang Zhong lamented in his heart. After hanging up the phone, Wang Zhong noticed that Ma Feifei had also sent a message asking if he was going home. Wang Zhong's answer was the same. He could tell that Ma Feifei was quite disappointed in the message. However, Wang Zhong also said that if he was going home, she could come to his place to play for a few days. Ma Feifei readily agreed. A few days before the new year, Wang Zhong rented a house outside and took Ma Feifei to many places outside to play. Before leaving, Wang Zhong also solemnly told Ma Feifei about the supernatural events in this world. Ma Feifei was very surprised. For a moment, she thought that Wang Zhong was joking with her. However, when she heard Wang Zhong say that she could ask Zhou Miaoyu about it when she went back and told her about Zhou Miaoyu, she believed him. No wonder. I've been hearing more and more strange things in school recently, Ma Feifei said with lingering fear. Don't worry. Everything is still under the control of the government. Okay. The new year passed quickly. As the new year passed, the fruit shop's business was getting better and better, especially the price. Ma Dongmin raised the price of the fruits in the shop twice. Even so, there was still an endless stream of people coming to buy fruits. On this day, Chow Ailing finally arrived. She had been to many places. Finally, she saw a few big cucumbers hanging on the shelves of Wang Zhong's shop. Found it. Chow Ailing smiled. Chapter 688. You are the one who saved me, right? When there were not many customers in the shop, Chao Ailing quietly came to the office where Wang Zhong was sitting. She stared at Wang Zhong and said. Naturally, Wang Zhong recognized Chao Ailing at first glance. However, when he recalled the scene of him giving her a big cucumber, he felt somewhat embarrassed. Additionally, he did not want to come into contact with other awakened ones. Thus, he decided not to acknowledge her. What are you talking about? Wang Zhong smiled and said. Miss, you said I saved you. Could you have mistaken me for someone else? In the basement of the building, it's you. I don't know what you are talking about. You used the cucumber in your shop. I know. The products in my shop are sold every day. Many customers buy them. That doesn't mean anything. Is that so? Chao Ailing frowned. Then she suddenly smiled and said. Actually, you don't have to be afraid to admit it. I came here to thank you. I will give you 10 million as a thank you gift, okay? Thank you very much, but it really isn't me. You still refuse to admit it is you. Chao Ailing said with certainty. Think about it. If you are really a fake, who would refuse such a large amount of money? Now that you are deliberately denying it, it means you are. Wang Zhong was shocked by Chao Ailing's logic. He sighed and said, all right, it's me. Lower your voice. Chao Ailing was very excited and she said seriously. Thank you so much. What you awakened is a planting skill, right? The fruits you grow are very nutritious. They are all right. If you want to eat them in the future, you can buy them, Wang Zhong said. That is for sure. Originally, Chao Ailing had wanted to invite Wang Zhong to join her family. However, after thinking about it, she decided against it. The man before her was clearly someone who was used to being free. Inviting him might end up making him unhappy. Thus, she might as well be friends with him. On the other side, a secret meeting was being held in the city's special affairs office. The team leader here was Zhang Yawen. As the city's leader in dealing with abnormal events, he was in charge of all the abnormal events in the city, big and small, as well as the list of awakened ones. Some of the hunters on the list had already talked to them and told them to behave themselves. Some of the awakened ones were very vigilant and did not reveal their identities. Even their families did not know. For these awakened ones, the higher-ups meant that they would not affect their lives, but they would have to observe their lives at all times. If you find that there is something wrong with this kind of awakened person, you must guide them in time and not let them go astray. Quiet, everyone, quiet down. Zhang Yawen stood in front of the PowerPoint with a baton in his hand. As we all know, the awakened ones are divided into 3 types regardless of their abilities. The first type, punishing evil and promoting good, taking pleasure in helping others. Most of these awakened ones have taken the initiative to find our organization. They are our good partners and members. The second category, breaking the law and bullying the weak and small. These awakened ones rely on their abilities that ordinary people don't have and start to commit crimes. They are our main opponents. The third type, which is also the most important type, is the type that hides deeply. Most of these awakened ones are more sensitive. They don't trust the organization and feel unsafe, so they hide in the crowd. We must guide these people. If they encounter any disharmony in their lives, we must provide them with help. We must let them know that as long as everyone gives a little love, the world will become a better tomorrow. Clap, clap, clap. The people below applauded, thinking that Zhang Yawen's words were very reasonable. Zhang Yawen pressed his hand and continued. Next, I will give everyone a list. Get close to the awakened ones on the list below. You don't have to reveal your identity. Just let them treat you as a friend. After you get familiar with them, understand their difficulties and help them. Understand? Yes. Very good. Next, there is one person who needs to be paid attention to. Soon, a fruit shop appeared on the screen. This shop is called the Strange and Strange Fruit Shop. The fruits sold there are indeed strange. In order to let everyone understand, I specially bought a few cucumbers from the shop. Let everyone try it. Zhang Yawen said. Cucumbers? Cucumbers don't taste good. A man muttered. Don't talk nonsense. The price of cucumbers on the market has risen a lot recently. We can't afford it. A girl who often uses cucumbers on her face said. Cucumbers are out of stock? Zhang Yawen laughed. You don't say. The price of cucumbers has indeed risen a lot. Just like now, the price of cucumbers on the market is twice as high as before. Saying that, Zhang Yawen became serious. I know that everyone looks down on this humble cucumber, but I believe that after you eat it, you will change your views. Soon, several cucumbers were evenly cut into small pieces and distributed to the people. This cucumber was indeed different from the ones bought in the market. This cucumber was more gorgeous, and the whole body was crystal clear. After being cut, the juice inside sprayed out like a pissing beef ball. Several team members subconsciously bit down out of curiosity. In an instant, the group of people's eyes widened. Delicious. So refreshing. After eating this cucumber, I won't want any other cucumbers in the future. The group of team members sighed. But soon, some people found that something was wrong with their bodies. A faintly discernible force rose from his abdomen. I seem to be getting stronger. It's not like I'm the same. What the hell is going on? Zhang Yawen smiled. Everyone has noticed the changes in their bodies, right? Yes, the cucumbers sold in this store have the same effect as the qi replenishing pill. It can improve one's strength and even replenish consumption. The qi replenishing pill was currently the most commonly used supplement medicine among the awakened ones within the system. It was said that the price was not cheap because the manufacturing process of the qi replenishing pill was very complicated. The raw materials needed to be mass-produced with the accelerated growth skill of a plant-type hunter. One could imagine how expensive the qi replenishing pill was. But this cucumber with an ordinary appearance was different. Its rich nutritional value made the cucumber comparable to the qi replenishing pill. Thinking of this, Zhang Yawen felt that he must capture the owner of this strange and odd fruit store. He must recruit him and bring him into the organization's embrace. He must let him know that the organization was his warmest harbor. Captain Zhang, this cucumber is from the strange and odd fruit store? It's too delicious. If all the hunters knew about it, I'm afraid they would rush to buy it. A girl danced excitedly. Mo Xiaoya, you don't have to be so excited. In fact, not only hunters will rush to buy it, ordinary people will also eat it. But the problem is this thing is not cheap. Zhang Yawen explained. After that, he pressed the remote switch in his hand, and the light in the room suddenly dimmed. On the white screen behind him, a picture of a man and a woman with large heads appeared. It seemed to have been taken secretly. Of the two people, the woman was tall with a curvy figure. Her appearance was delicate, and her elegant hair was like a black waterfall. People couldn't help but play with it. But the woman's temperament was too cold. She gave people a feeling of being unapproachable. The other man's appearance was average. He was the kind of person who would be forgotten in a crowd. But his temperament was outstanding, and his lazy eyes added a bit of mystery to him. These two people are the owner of the strange and odd fruit store and his employees. Zhang Yawen said. Captain Zhang, why do you say this girl is his employee? I think such a good-looking girl should be his girlfriend, right? A male member said. Zhang Yawen smiled and said, Good question. Pay attention, everyone. Now that there are more and more hunters, we have to maintain the spirit of seeking knowledge like that comrade just now. Even if it's the relationship between the hunters, we have to understand it clearly. Only in this way can we have a good relationship with the hunters in the future. Understand? Understood, Captain Zhang. Zhang Yawen nodded and then began to explain. In fact, at first, we also thought that this fruit store was opened by a couple. But then we found that it wasn't the case. The woman in this store is called Ma Dongmin, and the man is called Chen Anlin. Ma Dong means parents died when she was young. After she graduated from school, she looked for a job and then lost contact with them. At present, we don't know why she doesn't contact her relatives and friends. Compared to Ma Dongmin, this Chen Anlin's identity is simple. The screen changed, and a series of information about Wang Zhong appeared. Birthplace, when his parents died, how his grandfather died, all the information was available. There were even detailed references to Wang Zhong's personality, habits, and hobbies. Personality. Dull, doesn't like to talk, doesn't care about money, fame and fortune. Before becoming a hunter, he should be an otaku. But in school he was a top student and always got first place in his grade. Hobbies, farming. This person never liked to play since he was a child. Whenever he was free, he would farm. According to the clues provided by the villagers, this person also cultivated a field in the haunted area of the mountain. But he didn't encounter any ghosts. The suspected ghosts were dealt with by him in private. It had to be said that the investigation ability of the hunter's office was really outstanding. She was able to guess most of Wang Zhong's life since he was young and his personality. This Chen Anlin belongs to the category of hunters who are docile, law-abiding, and love life. He is a positive person with high-level interests. According to our guess, he should have awakened a farming skill. In other words, he can grow high-level plants with his farming skill, such as the cucumber in my hand. The originally ordinary cucumber has been improved by him into a good medicine. We estimate that he can become stronger because he ate these things. Originally, our principle was not to disturb the lives of law-abiding hunters. But this Anlin's methods are very special. So, I decided to have someone take the initiative to approach him. Let him know that the organization is the warmest harbor. Chapter 689. I'll go. As soon as Zhang Yaowen's voice trailed off, a man with a delicate face stood up. I will definitely become best buddies with this man. I'll go. I've studied psychology before. I know how to deal with people with such personalities. I'll go. I'll go. Zhang Yaowen rubbed his forehead and said, First of all, you have to remember that you are not going with ulterior motives. You have to show your sincerity, understand? The group of people looked at each other. What is the warmth of the organization? What is a warm harbor? You approached him with the mentality of taking advantage of him. Do you think he is a fool? Zhang Yaowen shouted sternly. Everyone in the room felt awkward. All right, everyone, go back and reflect on your actions. As for who will approach Chen Anlin, I have a candidate in mind. Yes. Dismissed. Captain Zhang, are you looking for me? In Zhang Yaowen's office, Chao Ailing walked into the room. As a child of a rich family, Chao Ailing had been sent to the team to train under her family's suggestion. Her goal was to improve her awakened strength. Ailing, sit down. Zhang Yaowen pointed to the seat in front of his desk. His attitude was amiable. Ailing, I heard that you are acquainted with Chen Anlin. Chao Ailing nodded. Yes, what about it? Don't you think that Chen Anlin is a very good young man? Not only is he an awakened, but more importantly, after becoming an awakened, he did not forget his original intention. He even saved you. You two are fated to meet. Captain Zhang, what do you want to say? It's like this. Zhang Yaowen coughed a few times. You two know each other. If possible, contact him more often. You mean you want me to become friends with him? Zhang Yaowen thought to himself. Not only should they become friends, but they should also become a couple. That was the only way. Of course he could not say that. Zhang Yaowen nodded and said, As you know, the price of the chi replenishing pills is high. However, the quality of the cucumbers sold in the shop is very good. So, my idea is to build a good relationship with Chen Anlin and lay a good foundation for the organization. In the future, if possible, we can buy his cucumbers in bulk. Oh, Chao Ailing nodded her head, seemingly understanding. So you agree? That's not a problem. I already know him. Chao Ailing thought that she was going to see Wang Zhong anyway, so she agreed without hesitation. Zhang Yaowen solemnly said, Eileen, this Chen Anlin is very important to us. Don't be petty when you get along with him. After all, he was the one who saved your life. In ancient times, if someone saved your life, you had to repay them with your body. Chao Ailing's face darkened. Captain Zhang, what do you want to say? Ahem, it's nothing. Anyway, it's good to have a good relationship with him. You don't have a boyfriend, right? At this point, Chao Ailing finally understood. Wasn't this asking her to seduce Chen Anlin? How could she do that? These past few days, Wang Zhong had been very distressed. He had dealt with most of the evil creatures in the surrounding area. Now he was thinking about where he should go to look for them. Brother Chen, that scheming woman is here again. Ma Dongmin, who was in front of the counter, said. The scheming woman Ma Dongmin was talking about was Chao Ailing. In her opinion, Chao Ailing was always looking for all kinds of excuses to get close to Brother Chen. Dongmin, don't say that. She's here for something. Wang Zhong reminded her. Ma Dongmin curled her lips and then looked at Chao Ailing with vigilance. Boss. Chao Ailing walked in with a smile. She had a lot of gifts in her hands. Branded watches, perfume, big gold chains. It seemed that Ma Dongmin was really going all out in order to get close to Chen Anlin. However, Wang Zhong didn't even look at them. He said indifferently, Why did you bring these things? Nothing much. They're for you. Chao Ailing sat on the side and looked around the shop. It's rare to be free today. The goods are gone. I'm waiting for more. Chao Ailing nodded her head. She knew that Wang Zhong's goods were all planted by himself, as she had never seen him import any goods. Did you bring the things? Wang Zhong asked. Yes. I wouldn't dare neglect the things you asked me to do. After saying that, Chao Ailing took out a folder. This is the internal document of the Awakened Office. It records some of the supernatural incidents in the city. Receiving the envelope, Wang Zhong opened it and looked. There were quite a lot of records. It seemed that he had made the right choice. There were too few special places reported in the news. The real places were only found in the internal department. Thank you. Wang Zhong put away the documents and said. These days, he knew that Chao Ailing was a member of the Awakened Office. That was why Wang Zhong asked her to help him find some special places. You're welcome, Brother Chen. You saved me. This is what I should do. But why are you looking for these places? Wang Zhong was already prepared for his reply. You also know that I became stronger by planting plants. However, do you know that I actually need energy to plant these plants? Oh, is that so? What kind of energy do you need? This was definitely important information. Chao Ailing didn't mean anything by it. She just felt that if she could help Wang Zhong, then she would be a good friend. Supernatural energy. My body can absorb the power of evil spirits. After dealing with the evil spirits, I will release this power into the plants I planted to accelerate their growth. Wang Zhong casually explained. This was an excuse he found. He guessed that he had already been targeted by the relevant departments. Just like in his previous life, the relevant departments adopted a caring policy for the scattered awakened ones. They wanted to let the awakened ones feel the warmth of the organization. So, Wang Zhong felt that instead of hiding it, it was better to openly reveal it to the organization. He wanted to let the organization know that he opened a shop for money and would not do anything reckless. So that's how it is. After listening to Wang Zhong's nonsense, Chao Ailing suddenly understood. She didn't have any other doubts. After all, she had seen some of the awakened ones around her. Some of them did become strong by killing monsters. Then, which evil creature are you going to deal with next? I know a lot about this. I can give you some advice. If possible, we can go together. We can take care of each other. Looking at the expectant Chao Ailing, Wang Zhong naturally rejected her offer. Forget about it. This place looks like a dangerous place. I'll do it myself. That won't do. You saved me. I have to help you. She knew how to be grateful. However, Chao Ailing's next words made Wang Zhong speechless. I know you despise me for being weak. But it doesn't matter. Just give me a few more cucumbers and I will become strong. After saying that, Chao Ailing groaned and her face turned pale. Chapter 690. Are you okay? Seeing Chao Ailing like this, she seemed to have internal injuries. But looking at her, she didn't seem to have been on duty recently, right? I'm fine. It's just an old problem. Chao Ailing sighed. Ding! Mission. Chao Ailing's hidden illness. Chao Ailing is practicing the martial arts of her family and has hidden injuries in her body. Your choices. Choice 1. I can tell at a glance that your menstrual cycle is irregular and your sex life is not harmonious. Come. I'll teach you a set of martial arts that uses yang to nourish yin. I guarantee that you'll bloom 3 times and sing the flute every night. From then on, you'll say goodbye to loneliness and become a real woman. Mission completion reward, 300 skill points. Choice 2. I can tell at a glance that your menstrual cycle is irregular and your sex life is not harmonious. Come, take out the martial arts you're practicing. We can practice it in the dead of night. With my help, I guarantee that you'll say goodbye to your troubles and become a real woman. Mission completion reward, 300 skill points. Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong looked at the 2 choices and was a little confused. He wanted to curse. What the hell? Why were the choices given now all like this? Wang Zhong pondered. After all, the Shinong inheritance was an inanimate object. The choices given often didn't match his cold and aloof persona. It also reflected that the Shinong inheritance needed to be improved. This time, the mission completion reward was the same. After thinking about it, Wang Zhong still chose choice 2. I can tell at a glance that your menstrual cycle is irregular and your sex life is not harmonious. Come, take out the martial arts you're practicing. We can practice it in the dead of night. With my help, I guarantee that you'll say goodbye to your troubles and become a real woman. After Wang Zhong finished speaking, Chao Ailing was stunned. If not for the serious look on Wang Zhong's face, Chao Ailing would have suspected that Wang Zhong was taking advantage of her. But she felt that Wang Zhong was joking, so she joked. No way, you can drive on this broken road. I'm not driving. Wang Zhong glanced at the door guiltily. Fortunately, there was no one around. He continued, I'm serious. You can show me the content of your cultivation. Maybe I can improve it for you. According to the hint given by the inheritance, Chao Ailing was like this because she had taken a wrong path in her cultivation. The solution was actually very simple, and that was to modify the cultivation method. Of course, Wang Zhong wouldn't modify any cultivation method. But if he planted the cultivation method in the ground, wouldn't he be able to grow it? According to past experience, even if a pirated cultivation method was planted inside, it could grow into a divine skill. If Chao Ailing's cultivation method was planted inside, wouldn't she be able to reach the heavens? Sensing that Wang Zhong wasn't joking, Chao Ailing's expression turned solemn. Are you serious? Can it really be improved? Why would I lie to you? What benefits do I get? Chao Ailing thought about it and agreed. The other party's strength far exceeded hers, so there was no need for him to lie to her. Besides, she had been so active these days. If he wanted to lie to her, she wouldn't be so easy to lie to. Chao Ailing's face was bright red as she asked. Actually, this matter isn't considered a secret. My Chao family has a long history. Before the awakened ones appeared, the people in the family practiced qi. We practiced a cultivation method called qi fist. After practicing it, the body can continuously produce qi. The strength is very strong, and the qi release can even deal with evil things. The last time I was in the underground garage, it was to train my qi. Wang Zhong nodded, indicating that he was listening. However, although qi fist is strong, it also has a big disadvantage. That is, when the cultivation reaches the middle stage, the power in the body will become chaotic. This problem has appeared in every generation of my family. Just like you said, the women's are not in tune. Well, then you haven't thought about how to solve this problem? Wang Zhong asked. Of course. But how difficult is it to modify the cultivation method? Even the ancestor of my family who obtained qi fist couldn't modify it. Give it to me, I'll help you change it. How about a handwritten copy? Thinking that there was not much difference between a pirated copy and a handwritten copy, Wang Zhong gladly agreed. In the evening, Chao Ailing brought the handwritten copy of qi fist over. Okay, give me a few days. When the time comes, I'll give you a strengthened version of qi fist, Wang Zhong said in a flat tone. Why don't we go out for a meal together and thank you properly? Chao Ailing said expectantly. Looking at Ma Dongmin, she felt that it would be inappropriate if she didn't invite her. Miss Ma, why don't we go together? Okay. Ma Dongmin didn't mind. She had become a tool. Although she only needed to drink water and plant her legs in the spirit field to absorb nutrients, It was fine to eat something once in a while. You guys go, I have something to do later. Wang Zhong said that he wouldn't go. You don't have time to eat? Chao Ailing asked. Aren't we going to help you improve this book? Actually, you don't have to rush. This kind of thing needs to be done step by step. How can you work without strength? Ma Dongmin looked at her and knew what Chao Ailing was thinking. She said, Brother Chen must have something to do tonight. Let's go first. Ma Dongmin had been in the shop for many days and couldn't wait to go out for a walk. Okay then. Chao Ailing sighed in her heart and left with some disappointment. After waiting for them to leave, Wang Zhong walked to the backyard and planted the handwritten copy of the Energy Fist. After watering it with happy water and fertilizer, he didn't care about it anymore. He got up and walked out. This time he was going to a special place. File 89. Mass disappearance of KTV personnel. Incident. Royal KTVA is a club in the suburbs. 3 months ago, someone found that the people who entered the club never came out again. Since then, this place has been listed as a special area. Investigation results. The Investigation Bureau sent a small team to investigate, but they also lost contact. When drones and unmanned robots entered, their signals were blocked. There was nothing they could do. Suggestion. Wait for the headquarters to send a level 4 expert. If they can't do it, they can only blow it up. This club was a standalone building. At first glance, it was obvious that it was for the upper-class people to have fun. Although it was already late at night, the lights were still shining brightly. At the bright windows, there were even some well-dressed men and women walking around. This was also why this place was strange. Although this place was sealed and no one was allowed to enter. But when night fell, the lights inside were still on. People outside could see that the staff were still at work and the customers were still having fun. As a matter of fact, everyone in the outside world knew that these people might have already died. After parking the car outside, Wang Zhong, who was wearing a casual suit, walked towards the entrance. Before he entered, Wang Zhong felt that the temperature suddenly dropped. If ordinary people came here, they would be so cold that their hair would stand on end. Chapter 691. Finally, he reached the entrance. Wang Zhong was very surprised. With his cultivation, he could see through the nature of evil beings. For example, if an evil being pretended to be an ordinary person and approached him or said some nonsense to him, he would definitely know. But standing at the entrance of this club, everything was too real. In front of him, this was just an ordinary club, a club that was still in business. For example, the 2 waitresses wearing red cheongsam at the entrance were so real. No, not real, they were real people. Welcome to the Royal Club. As soon as he entered, the 2 waitresses welcomed him in unison. Wang Zhong did not say a word and walked in. Sir, do you have a reservation? The tall waitress walked over and asked. No. Oh, then you just came here to play. Do you want a large room or a medium room? Large room. Okay, sir, this way please. Do you have any friends coming over to play? No, I'm the only one here. Wang Zhong said. So it's like that. The young lady who spoke seemed a little surprised. In her opinion, people who came here to play generally wouldn't come here for no reason. Seeing this girl's appearance, Wang Zhong was even more surprised. Because an ordinary evil being would not be able to make a surprised expression. All of a sudden, Wang Zhong thought of an extremely important matter. That is, could it be that this evil being still did not know that he was already dead? It was not that there were no evil beings that could do this, but they were usually very strong. Wang Zhong did not say anything and pretended that he did not know anything as he followed the girl into a corridor. As soon as he entered, he heard the noise of music from both sides. With a glance, he could tell that the business here was good. The private room was full of men and women playing. The waiters shuttled back and forth beside Wang Zhong. A few men and women with arms around each other's shoulders walked towards the toilet while laughing. This appearance, it was as if it was really happening. Sir, this is the Phoenix Hall. The waitress opened the door for Wang Zhong and smiled. May I call the girls up? Calling the girls over was to give Wang Zhong a choice. All right, let the girls come over. Wang Zhong was very calm. He wanted to see what the mastermind behind this was up to. Soon, more than 10 women in red cheongsam lined up in a row and stood in front of Wang Zhong. The quality of the women here was not bad. They were young, budding, and did not have heavy makeup on their faces. "Thank you, boss." More than a dozen women bowed in unison. The scene was quite spectacular. "Stay here," Wang Zhong said. All the women were astonished. All of them were staying. This was a big shot. "Boss, there are 15 girls here. You want them all to stay?" "What? You think I can't afford it?" "Of course not. It's just that this isn't too convenient." This woman's mind was quite active. She knew that Wang Zhong was a man, and there were so many women here. There's nothing inconvenient about that. Wang Zhong glanced at the group of women. These people didn't seem to know that they were dead. Maybe the evil thing was among them. "All right then, boss. Take your time." At the same time, the door opened. A limping middle-aged man came in with a small cart. "Do you want to buy snacks? Drinks, duck neck, chicken feet, duck liver." The women acted as though they didn't see him as they surrounded Wang Zhong and chattered amongst themselves. One cheered for Wang Zhong, another said that he was so handsome, and another almost stuck her whole body to Wang Zhong. If ordinary people came here, they might be infected by the environment. Wang Zhong's expression didn't change. He stared at the limping man in front of him and said, "Friend, let's play together." "I'm working here. I don't play." "Oh, is that so?" All of a sudden, the pea bullet shot out. Bang, bang, bang. The limping man was about to be hit, but at the same time 3 women blocked it. "Poochie." The 3 women's blood splattered on the spot. "You're quite good. You actually guarded against me and let 3 scapegoats block it for you," Wang Zhong said lightly. The limping man stared at Wang Zhong coldly. "Meddlesome thing." Wang Zhong didn't say anything. He threw out a pile of exorcism mushrooms. The whole room seemed to have been washed with acid. The originally gorgeous sofa and the lights were now dark. At this moment, the group of beautiful women had all turned into bloodless dried corpses. But they didn't seem to see it. They continued to serve tea and drink. Their souls were still trapped at the moment before their deaths, unable to escape. "Why did you let them do this?" Wang Zhong asked. "Why? Since you're about to die, you'll know later." The limping man smiled. Soon, the women in the room seemed to hear the exciting music and started to dance. They were having fun. But at this time, the door opened again. A strong man with a mask on his face entered the room with a kitchen knife and started to chop. These women's bodies were originally covered in wounds, but they were still being slashed with all their strength. They screamed and begged for mercy, but it was no use. The masked man closed the door and walked out. Wang Zhong followed the limping man out. In the corridor, there were men and women running away. These people were the ladies who worked here and the customers who played here. They never thought that they would meet a murderer here. They wanted to escape, but the door was locked. Several strong men with masks appeared around them. These strong men were holding kitchen knives and chopping people in sight. The originally gorgeous club became a hell. "See, these are all what they deserve." The limping man laughed. Where he was standing, a woman suddenly knelt down to him. "Let me go. Let me go." The woman cried. "I know I'm wrong." "Good. It's time to go home." Hearing that, the woman seemed to have heard the most terrifying voice. "Let me go. I don't want to go." "Are you stupid? You'd rather be a prostitute here than go home. Don't you think you're despicable? Let's break up. I don't want to go with you." The limping man looked disgusted. "You're really despicable." He kicked the woman to the ground. Then he turned to Wang Zhong. "See? It's because of this place that the women have become bad. They don't want to go home. Despicable. Let me go. I don't want to go home." "Why don't you go home? Am I not good to you? I love you so much. Are you stupid? You don't want to go home when there's someone who loves you so much. I don't want to go back. If I go back with you, I'll be beaten to death by you." "I'll beat you? I love you. I just want you to get rid of some of your bad habits." The scene in front of him happened on the night of the accident. Then, the limping man raised the kitchen knife in his hand in disgust. For you, I killed people. For you, I'll turn this place into hell. I'll make you live in pain forever. At the side, Wang Zhong finally understood. The limping man had purposely turned the place into this state. He wanted the men and women there to live in pain even if they died. He wanted them to experience the scene before they died. Ah! Don't kill me. Don't! The screams were endless. The limping man was very happy. Ha ha ha, that's how it should be. That's how it should be. He turned to look at Wang Zhong. You're the only one who came here recently. The people who came before you all died here. Do you know why? Why? Because I want the people who come here to play to die. I want them to pay the price. Everyone has the right to play. They pay for it. Everyone takes what they want. Why? Wang Zhong sighed. Because they destroyed my family. If they didn't give my wife money and take care of her business, would she run away? She wouldn't. She would stay at home obediently and take care of her husband and children. Do you know what the people outside say about me? They call me useless Aji. Puchi. Puchi. At this moment, several masked men killed the people one by one. They came to the limping man's side and dragged him away. Haha, but I'm not useless Aji anymore. I've gained the ability to imprison souls. I'm the king here. I know you're not an ordinary person, but you've miscalculated. You'll stay here today. The limping man immediately retreated. Several masked men, as well as the service staff of the KTV, rushed towards Wang Zhong. Facing these opponents, Wang Zhong threw out the evil annihilation palm and smashed it toward the nearest corpses. The evil annihilation palm bombarded the corpses and burned them on the spot. Then he took out the pea bullet and threw it at the limping man. Unexpectedly, the pea bullet directly penetrated the limping man's body. Wang Zhong raised his eyebrows. You're also a dead man. There can be no construction without destruction. Only when I die can I truly become strong. The limping man waved his hand. His body was full of resentment, and the souls of the dead in the club all came out. Go. Wang Zhong threw out a lot of exorcism mushrooms. A single exorcism mushroom had 4 layers of protection. With so many exorcism mushrooms, the protective layer reached an astonishing 50 layers. Some of the weaker souls were directly scattered by the exorcism mushrooms and screamed in pain. The limping man sensed that Wang Zhong was not to be trifled with, and wanted to retreat. However, he did not give up. You're quite strong. Since we're friends, I'll give this place to you. How about letting me leave? Why? Wang Zhong sneered in his heart. Because I'm also a good person. I'm doing this to return peace to the world. In the future, no family will be destroyed by this kind of place. So let's go our separate ways. How about it? Wang Zhong was expressionless. Is that so? You said you're a good person, and you're doing this to punish your wife. Well, I'll ask your wife. As soon as he finished speaking, he swept away the masked men who were holding the crippled man's wife. Then he pulled up the woman who had been hacked to death. Let me ask you, why would you rather stay here with the guests than go home? Wang Zhong's peace talisman dispelled the resentment, and the woman's mind became clearer. I'm already dead. Chapter 692. I'm already dead. When the memory came back to her, the woman looked at her hands in disbelief and burst into tears. I'm already dead. I'm dead. It's all because of you, Qinji. It's good that you remember. This is my punishment for you. Who told you to ignore your family and come here to work? If I don't care about my family, then do you care about your family? If it weren't for me, where would we live? What would we eat? Everything you eat and use was brought by my family. What have you done for our family? It's not that I'm not prepared. You have to know that I love you. Have you forgotten that we want to spend our lives together? Why won't you wait for me? At this moment, Wang Zhong interjected. So you feel that it's fine for everyone to starve and accompany you in suffering poverty, just because you love her? Ha ha ha. Then, if I say that I love you, shouldn't you do the same for me? Have you thought about what others would think? My business is none of your business. It's none of my business, But what kind of life she wants is none of your business. At the end of the day, you're selfish. You only think about yourself. You don't care about what others think. Shut up. Chunji was furious. A huge wave of resentment rose to the sky. You're courting death. Wang Zhong rushed forward. At this moment, the awakened ones who were in charge of secretly monitoring the place noticed that something was wrong. The lights in the originally brightly lit clubhouse were now flickering. Some of the handsome men and beautiful women's appearances also changed abruptly, becoming bloody and mutilated. What's going on? There's a change in the interior. This means that there are two types of energy inside. Could it be that someone has entered? Report to the main team first. At this moment, Wang Zhong's evil vanquishing palm hit Chunji. Chunji's plump body suddenly shriveled. Wang Zhong's speed was getting faster and faster. In addition to the evil vanquishing palm, the blazing sun technique's yang power was also getting more and more difficult for Chunji's in-soul body. Finally, he screamed and tried to escape. Die! He aimed at Chunji's back and punched out. Chunji screamed miserably as a large chunk of his soul was instantly shattered. However, Wang Zhong didn't make a move. He said, "You killed so many people. Let those people decide how to deal with you." At this moment, because Chunji was injured, he could no longer control so many ghosts. Just like his wife, the ghosts began to recall their memories. "I'm dead, I'm actually dead. I only came here to have some fun, but I was hacked to death. I worked so hard here just to earn more money for milk powder. I didn't expect it to turn out like this. It's all that man's fault. He controlled these masked men to kill us. Revenge. I want to tear him apart. I want to tear him apart too." Several masked men also recalled and rushed towards Chunji. Wang Zhong no longer paid attention to the situation here, because he realized that there were several cars outside. "I'm afraid that the commotion I caused here has been discovered." Wang Zhong put on his mask and left. An hour later, the people from the awakened office came. After a small team carefully entered the club, many of them directly vomited. The scene was too bloody. Corpses were piled up on the ground. Under so many corpses, a corpse that didn't look human caught their attention. Report, the incident here has been resolved. Resolved? Hearing this news, everyone was extremely shocked. Then a team entered and carried the corpse out. Soon, the office investigated the nearby surveillance cameras and finally found that a person wearing a mask seemed to have entered this place. Was it resolved by this person? Who is this person? Zhang Yaowen sighed and felt quite gratified. In this world, there was a chivalrous person. This was a good thing, just like the slogan of the awakened office. As long as everyone gives a little love, the world will become a better tomorrow. He felt that if everyone was like this mysterious masked man, the world would definitely become very beautiful. Name: Chen Anlin. Cultivation 8. Cultivated plants. Spiritual land area. 15 by 10. Transferable, spiritual fruits. Technical points. 5,398 points. Looking at the newly appeared personal inheritance information, Wang Zhong was overjoyed. The spiritual land area had increased again. This was a good thing. In the future, there would be more things to grow. On the same day, Wang Zhong built a wall behind the shop. He also planned to find the owner of the land behind the shop and buy this piece of land. With the improvement of his cultivation, 3 new products appeared in the shop. One of them attracted Wang Zhong's attention. Nitrogen fertilizer. Organic fertilizer more nutritious than the happy fertilizer. It can accelerate the growth of plants and strengthen the fruits of plants, making them more effective. At first glance, this nitrogen fertilizer was a good thing. Wang Zhong was overjoyed. The only drawback was that it was too expensive. It actually cost 500 technical points. But he still exchanged for 2 bags at once. The volume was about the same as the happy fertilizer. He walked to the place where the Fist of Air skill was planted and sprinkled the nitrogen fertilizer. This time, the growth of the Fist of Air skill was amazing. In the blink of an eye, it grew into a tree more than 3 meters tall. Fortunately, his house was also high. He fixed the roof so that outsiders could not see the situation here. A total of more than 20 pages of paper grew on the tree. After carefully picking them, Wang Zhong began to read carefully. The original Qi fist technique was written in traditional Chinese characters, but now it was written in simplified Chinese characters. After reading it, Wang Zhong secretly nodded. As expected of a high-grade cultivation technique, this cultivation technique is so much better than the one I cultivated before. Wang Zhong did not eat it immediately. Instead, he took the paper and wrote it down. After that, he ate all the fruits. It had been 3 days. On this night, many relatives and friends came to Chow Ailing's house. It was not that her family had something to do, but Chow Ailing's aunt came over. She said that she had a very good young man and wanted to matchmake Chow Ailing. Eileen, I don't know how many excellent girls are chasing after him. Not only is he talented, but also like us, his family also cultivates qi. I heard that his strength has reached 3. Did you know that not long ago, he solved a major spirit incident? When you have time, you must meet him. If you miss this opportunity, you won't have a chance. You know? Chow Ailing looked at the photo and instantly lost interest. Cross-eyed, that's too ugly. You child, you can't judge a book by its cover. He is talented and capable. So what if he is cross-eyed? Do you know? Not only does he have a cultivation, but he is also an awakened one. What did he awaken? If I tell you, you will be scared to death. Chow Ailing curled her lips. Then you can scare me. His awakened ability is toughness. Parts of his body can quickly harden. Isn't that amazing? Think about it. If he were to fight against an enemy, who would be able to block his punch? Auntie introduced you to him for your own good. You know that? Forget it. I have someone in my heart. Chow Ailing said. There is someone, Eileen. Are you talking about the fruit stall owner? As a child of a big family, of course, the family knew Chow Ailing's recent whereabouts very well. They knew that Chow Ailing had been running to Wang Zhong's fruit shop recently. They also knew that the fruit of this fruit shop was extraordinary. But no matter how extraordinary the fruit was, how could it be compared with the young children of a big family? Chow Ailing was simply lowering her status by going there. He is my friend. Friend? In my opinion, he is just trying to get close to you. This kind of person should stay away from him. It is better to stay with the young man that aunt and you are talking about. Okay, aunt. Chow Ailing sent her aunt away with a few words. She secretly thought that the old woman was really old. These days, she thought that people were powerful because they were powerful. Although Chen Anlin was a farmer, the things he planted were not ordinary. After returning to her room, Chow Ailing looked at her phone and was suddenly overjoyed. It turned out that Wang Zhong had already sent her a message, saying that he had improved the cultivation method, and she could go to see it. When mom and dad know that the cultivation method has been improved, I am afraid that they will be so shocked that they will be speechless. Chow Ailing was now very much looking forward to it. On this day, her aunt stayed with the Chow family. The next day, her aunt played the same old tune early in the morning and asked Chow Ailing to go on a blind date. In order to let Chow Ailing go, her aunt specially told Chow Ailing's parents. Helpless, Chow Ailing could only sneak out secretly. After arriving at Wang Zhong's place and receiving the enhanced version of the Qigong manual that Wang Zhong gave her, Chow Ailing also discovered that the Qigong manual had been greatly modified. But her level was not high, so she could not see the use of it for a while. She could only take the manual back. After sending Chow Ailing away, the bronze sword, peachwood sword, and other weapons in the spiritual field had finally matured. There were actually dozens of swords of each type, which made Wang Zhong very satisfied. Especially the bronze sword that grew out of a tree. The surface of the sword was cast with a special pattern. The whole body was black, and the blade flashed with a black light. Above the cold light, the whole sword exuded a cold aura. This sword is a magic weapon. Wang Zhong held it tightly. His heart was filled with a sense of loss. He now had a lot of equipment, weapons, and he simply could not use them all. Moreover, as more and more people knew about his fruit store, it was inevitable that in the future, people would have ideas about him. What should he do next? Of course, he had to have the power to protect himself. It seems that I have to establish my own force. Wang Zhong looked at Ma Dongmin, who was working hard at the entrance of the store. Now Ma Dongmin was like his child. No, he didn't just look like him. Ma Dongmin was planted by him. He was his child. I need to find more helpers. Wang Zhong was not at ease with ordinary people. Only those who grew in his own land would be at ease. On the spot, Wang Zhong clicked on a real-life inflatable doll on his phone. Chapter 693. He ordered a total of 10 blow-up dolls. Every one of them was different. In order to avoid clashing with the appearance of real people, Wang Zhong had chosen to use ordinary-looking inflatable dolls. This was his first time planting blow-up dolls. Wang Zhong did not know what they would look like, so he decided to give it a try. Of course, at first he wanted to plant dead people, just like Ma Dongmin. But then he thought that if he planted people, they would have memories of their lives. It would be troublesome if some of them missed their loved ones. So after thinking about it, Wang Zhong decided to plant blow-up dolls first. The delivery was fast. 3 days later, the 10 blow-up dolls arrived. The packaging was very tight. It was impossible to tell what was inside just by looking at the surface. Brother Chen, what did you buy? Why are they packed so well? Ma Dongmin was surprised to see the 10 neatly sealed bags. Let's talk about it later. The two of them carried the bags into the backyard. When they opened it, Ma Dongmin was stunned. 10 blow-up dolls. If Ma Dongmin could blush now, she would have blushed. Brother Chen, your needs are so strong? Actually, she wanted to say that if he really wanted, she could do it for him. Wang Zhong's face darkened. What needs are you talking about? Don't talk nonsense. I'm planning to plant more people. Why? Ma Dongmin was puzzled. Because I need help. Wang Zhong explained. Have you noticed that the sales of our fruits have been getting better and better? Basically, as soon as we sell our fruits, people will come over. It's very likely that these people will be stationed near us for a long time, keeping an eye on us. Someone wants to deal with us? Ma Dongmin, who had been deceived, was very sensitive. She became nervous. They won't go so far as to deal with us, but it's very likely that they're trying to figure out our background. Before that, we need to be able to protect ourselves. After Wang Zhong's analysis, Ma Dongmin agreed. Okay, let's plant these silicone dolls. But will it work? Ma Dongmin felt that it was a little unreliable. Wang Zhong wasn't confident, but based on his previous experience, he knew that he would reap what he sowed. Basically, everything he planted would be strengthened. Therefore, if he planted the silicone doll, it might turn into a real person. Silicone doll? Probably. Then he planted one first. Happy water, happy fertilizer, and nitrogen fertilizer were all poured out in one go. The growth rate was indeed very fast. In the blink of an eye, a giant silicone tree had grown extremely thick. The branches quickly split apart and began to bloom into silica-like flowers. The flowers gradually grew bigger and bigger until they finally took the shape of a human. These humanoid figures grew larger and larger until they finally transformed into humanoid young girls. The most surprising thing was that these young girls had three-dimensional facial features and blinking eyes. If not for these silicone dolls hanging on the trees, people would have thought that they were real people. This is too realistic. Ma Dongmin was really stunned. At the same time, her heart was filled with jealousy. She couldn't help it. These young girl silicone dolls were too beautiful. Each of them was lifelike, just like a real person. At the same time, their three-dimensional faces and plump breasts made her heart skip a beat even though she was a girl. Master. As soon as these silicone dolls opened their eyes, they seemed to be able to sense Wang Zhong and cried out happily. In Wang Zhong's mind, the information of the silicone dolls appeared. Strengthened silicone girl. A girl grown from strengthened silicone. Has extremely strong tenacity and vitality. Can survive as long as watered daily. Docile personality. Only listens to the grower. Has monstrous strength. Can learn various skills such as guns, driving, cooking, bed. Weakness. Afraid of high temperature because high temperature can melt the silicone girl. Damage can be repaired. Repair method. Plant them in the spiritual field and sprinkle them with nutrient solution. P.S. The seeds of the silicone girl are located in the brain. If the brain is broken, the silicone girl cannot be repaired. Good, good, good. After reading the introduction, Wang Zhong was overjoyed. Only listens to the grower, can learn various skills, and has monstrous strength. Isn't this the helper he needs? Calling me master sounds too bad. It sounds like a feudal society. Just call me boss from now on, Wang Zhong instructed. Boss, boss. The group of silicone dolls chirped. In the afternoon, Wang Zhong planted the remaining silicone doll army. He harvested 13 silicone girls from each tree. After plucking all of them, Wang Zhong discovered a very important problem. Although these silicone girls were obedient, they seemed to be brainless. For example, they would only execute an order. Usually, they would stand there stiffly and reveal a strange smile. This is too scary, Ma Dongmin said. She was worried that so many silicone girls would push her down from her position. In fact, she was thinking too much. She was very sensitive now. Fortunately, so many silicone girls looked different. Wang Zhong specially ordered clothes for them. There were numbers written on the back and chest of the clothes. Wang Zhong gave each of them a name that started with Chun. For example, Chun Meili, Chun Mimi, Chun Huilin, Chun Huihui, Chun Xiaoan. After that, he rented an apartment nearby and got dozens of computers for them to learn various skills. While Wang Zhong was busy making the silicone girl stronger, Chao Ailing had been concentrating on cultivating the strengthened version of the Qi Fist technique at home. Although what Wang Zhong gave her was a sketch, Chao Ailing was able to see the improved content at a glance because she had learned these techniques before. After practicing for a full 7 days, Chao Ailing was pleasantly surprised to find that the parts of the technique that she didn't understand before had improved greatly. For example, in the past, the consumption of qi was very wasteful. Often, after a few punches, she would be out of breath and gasping for breath. But now the utilization of qi had greatly improved. Moreover, after practicing this technique, she was pleasantly surprised to find that her qi had faintly improved. This was a kind of blessing in terms of strength, which more than doubled her attack power. Chun Anlin is really a talent. After his improvement, my Qi Fist has reached the 4th level. I'm afraid that I'm the strongest in the Chao family. Chao Ailing was very happy. She kept attacking the dummies in the yard. My parents will be very happy when they know. I'll give them a surprise later. While she was thinking, her aunt let a young man in. Chao Ailing frowned. She recognized this man. It was the young man that her aunt wanted to introduce to her. Originally, she was perfunctory, but she didn't expect her aunt to not give up and actually let him in. Ailing, this is Gao Mushi. Today, I'm not feeling well. He specially sent me to the hospital to check my body. I just passed by here and came to see you. Her aunt smiled with relief. She felt that Gao Mushi and Chao Ailing were a perfect match. Their family background was similar, and they were very well matched. Hello, Miss Chao, we meet again. Facing the cold Chao Ailing, Gao Mushi said with a smile. Meet again? Have we met before? Chao Ailing was puzzled. Miss Chao is so forgetful. Have you forgotten last year's banquet? At that time, Miss Chao sang a song at the banquet, which moved me very much. Is that so? You see, you can talk so much. Let's go in and eat something. Ai Ling, Gao Mushi also brought some gifts this time. Chao Ailing was a little embarrassed. She admitted that Gao Mushi was very good and his character was very elegant. But perhaps as an upper-class person, she had seen a lot of men with this elegant gentleman style, so she felt very dull. But since he came, she naturally reluctantly received him. When the woman came out, she immediately found an excuse to leave here. In the blink of an eye, 3 months passed, and Chao Ailing felt that her strength had reached a higher level. This was the benefit brought to her by the cultivation method. But it was also because of Wang Zhong's fruit. Because she was familiar with Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong gave her some special fruits that he exchanged in the mall, which benefited Chao Ailing a lot. Of course, in return, Chao Ailing provided a lot of internal information of the awakened office, so that Wang Zhong no longer had to worry about taking a detour. My menstrual cycle is back to normal too. After practicing the cultivation method for 3 months, in addition to the change in strength, what surprised Chao Ailing the most was that her period was normal. Haha, I said my life is in my own hands. I, Chow Ailing, am really a woman of destiny. With this strength, the family doesn't have to force me to meet that Gao Mushi. Chapter 694. These days, what Chow Ailing heard the most was how good Gao Mushi was, and how good his family was. She was tired of hearing it. Especially her aunt. Every time she found an excuse to go out and talk to Gao Mushi. Gao Mushi was indeed excellent, but this thing was also about fate. She couldn't be interested in him just because he was excellent, right? In that case, there were many excellent people in the world. Did she have to like all of them? Therefore, Chow Ailing decided to make it clear to Gao Mushi that she was not suitable for him. It was good for everyone to be ordinary friends. We are not suitable? In the coffee shop, after hearing Chow Ailing's words, Gao Mushi was stunned. Why? He thought that he was so excellent that Chow Ailing should like him very much. Before, she was cold to him. He thought it was because Chow Ailing originally belonged to the cold type of goddess. Weren't all goddesses like this? The more she was like this, the more he felt that Chow Ailing was his true love. Unexpectedly, it was not because she was cold, but because she didn't like him. He didn't believe that he was so good. How could Chow Ailing not like him? Gao Mushi, you are a good person, really. I think you are very, very good, but it's hard to say about feelings, so I'm sorry. Chow Ailing sighed and said, Ailing, are you testing me? Gao Mushi thought it must be so. After all, there were so many women pursuing him. Chow Ailing said so, it must be to test his sincerity. Chow Ailing frowned and said, I mean it, you are not my type. So you have other people you like? No. Then why can't I? Gao Mushi really couldn't figure it out. After chatting with Gao Mushi for so long, now Chow Ailing felt that Gao Mushi was really too paranoid, and didn't make sense at all. And he was also very conceited. He felt that it was inconceivable that she didn't like him. She didn't want to talk anymore and got up to leave. Damn it, why don't you care about me? I am so good. Looking at the empty position, Gao Mushi's face was angry. He was not a person who easily admitted defeat. In the following days, he had been pestering Chow Ailing. When Chow Ailing went to work, he sent her flowers and breakfast. When she got off work, he took the initiative to appear and invite her to dinner. But this made Chow Ailing feel more and more the horror of Gao Mushi. She felt fear and uneasiness from the bottom of her heart. In order to make him give up, Chow Ailing thought of a way. He hired his cousin to pretend to be his boyfriend. In order to make it real, after noticing that Gao Mushi was following them, he and his cousin took the initiative to go to the hotel, and the two people prepared to pretend to spend the night together. Unexpectedly, as soon as he moved in, Gao Mushi suddenly began to knock on the door. Pung pung pung. Gao Mushi, what do you mean? I am in love with my boyfriend. Why do you keep following me? Chow Ailing couldn't take it anymore. Because he doesn't look like a good person. I checked his information and he's 5 years younger than you. It's none of your business who I look for. Alright. You don't need me to care, right? Gao Mushi's eyes suddenly became cold. He looked at the hotel and suddenly smiled. Then I will die for you to see. Let's see if you can live well in the future. His voice fell. Gao Mushi actually rushed toward the hotel window. Ah! Seeing this scene, Chow Ailing and his cousin were stunned. Bang! Gao Mushi hit the concrete ground heavily, and his whole body turned into a pile of rotten meat, and he died on the spot. Sister, what should we do now? Chow Ailing's cousin didn't expect things to be so serious. Call the police. Chow Ailing frowned. Gao Mushi was dead now, which was very troublesome. She was worried that Gao family would be very angry. Gao family was very powerful. Although her Chow family was not afraid of them, she didn't want to have a conflict with Gao family. To Chow Ailing's relief, the Gao family was very open-minded after learning about it, because they saw in the surveillance that Gao Mushi was completely paranoid. Chow Ailing clearly said that she didn't want to be with him, but he still pestered her. Gao family also felt that it was wrong. But what they didn't expect was that a year later, people began to die in this hotel one after another. No one knew why. Finally, the people from the awakened office came, but none of them came out after entering. because this place was far from where Wang Zhong lived, and Wang Zhong had been teaching the silicone girls various skills recently, so he didn't come over. When he noticed this place, Wang Zhong felt that something was wrong. What a strong evil spirit aura. Standing outside the sealed hotel, Wang Zhong could sense that the inside of the hotel was dark. This place had already formed an evil spirit lair. With the support of the lair, the evil spirits here had their strength increased exponentially. He estimated that they could reach the level of level 8 awakened. At this level, even he would have a hard time dealing with them. Ding. Evil spirit nest discovered. This evil spirit nest has a tendency to become bigger. Please solve it as soon as possible. Mission completion reward, 3,000 technical points. Seeing the prompt, Wang Zhong raised his eyebrows. There were actually 3,000 technical points. This was the first time he encountered so many technical points. It was conceivable that this evil spirit nest was very difficult to deal with. Are you all ready? Wang Zhong said to the silicone girls behind him. Ready. Okay, let's kill our way in. There were many evil spirits in the evil spirit nest. It was not easy to find the real evil spirit inside. During this period, there would definitely be evil spirits of all sizes harassing them. Therefore, Wang Zhong brought the silicone girls to deal with the evil spirits inside. Inside the hotel, energy filled the sky. In the lobby alone, several former staff members arched their backs and turned to look at Wang Zhong. Food is coming. The staff members all laughed and rushed toward Wang Zhong. This was because Wang Zhong was the only one with human aura. Wang Zhong did not move. The silicone girls behind him took the initiative to step forward. Kill. The silicone girls moved quickly. Some took out exorcism mushrooms, some took out peachwood swords. Everyone had their own means to deal with the evil spirits. Wang Zhong's silicone army was unstoppable, crushing the evil spirits that rushed over. Wang Zhong did not move at all. He was sensing where the yin energy was strongest. The evil spirit nest should be somewhere in the hotel. He just needed to find it. However, the deeper they went, the stronger the evil spirits they encountered. The silicone girl's strength was gradually unable to keep up. Ah, my hand. A silicone girl's arm was torn off. White fluid flowed out from the broken part. That's right, the silicone girls did not have blood. Their bodies were filled with the white fluid used to make silicone. Ah, my shoulder. My leg. The exorcism mushrooms seem to be useless. Boss, the evil spirits here are too strong. They had already reached the second floor. The evil spirit's strength was beyond everyone's expectations. Looking at the silicone girls around him falling one by one, a few of them had their heads scratched and fell to the ground dead. Chapter 695. Although these silicone girls weren't real people, they were still planted by him. Seeing them fall one by one, Wang Zhong's heart ached. Suddenly a behemoth appeared in front of him. Who dares to disturb my rest? A tall, burly man with bulging muscles appeared in front of him. Gao Mushi. Seeing the person who appeared, Wang Zhong immediately recognized him. Isn't this the ultimate bootlicker who committed suicide for Chao Ailing last year? Naturally, Wang Zhong didn't know Gao Mushi. However, Gao Mushi's suicide had caused a huge commotion. When Chao Ailing had gone to his shop in private, she had talked to Wang Zhong. He also saw Gao Mushi's appearance on the news. At that time, Wang Zhong felt that Gao Mushi was a weirdo. His family was so good, and he was also an awakened. How could he be so weird? Why did he have to pursue Chao Ailing? Was Chao Ailing that good? Wang Zhong suddenly remembered that this Gao Mushi committed suicide in this hotel. At present, it seemed that he had become the owner of this place. Not only that, from the shape of his body, he was an awakened among the evil creatures. He had already transcended the existence of ordinary evil creatures. No wonder he became so powerful after just a year of death. Wang Zhong understood in his heart. Courting death. Gao Mushi stared coldly at Wang Zhong, grabbed an evil creature on the side, threw it into his mouth and chewed. The evil creature screamed in pain in his mouth, but for Gao Mushi, this evil creature was very delicious, making him feel so good that he closed his eyes. In the end, he looked at Wang Zhong and grabbed at Wang Zhong. Evil vanquishing palm. Wang Zhong punched out. Gao Mushi sneered. In my territory, I am invincible. A powerful aura shrouded Wang Zhong. Bang bang bang. The injured silicone girls beside him instantly exploded and died. So strong. Wang Zhong now saw the power of the evil spirit's lair. This power was indeed strong. Retreat. There was no need for a head-on clash. This time, he had lost 1/3 of his silicone army. If they continued to fight, he was worried that they would all be wiped out. With a thought, the group of silicone girls were all taken into the Shengnong space. The plants that grew in the spiritual fields could all be stored in the Shengnong space. Looking at the group of people who suddenly disappeared, Gao Mushi was stunned. And then he suddenly realized. You have something like a space on you, right? Very good. After killing you and becoming my ghost servant, your things will belong to me. Gao Mushi was very confident. Perhaps everyone's strength was about the same, but in his lair he had a steady supply of power, so he had a natural advantage. Naturally, Wang Zhong would not allow himself to be captured without putting up a fight. He took out 2 potatoes. Haha, what are you going to do with 2 potatoes? Gao Mushi sneered, thinking that Wang Zhong was scared by him, and began to turn to any doctor. Although I can't deal with you today, you can't make me stay either. After saying that, he threw the potato bomb behind him. What is this? Gao Mushi was stunned, and then with a boom sound, the shock wave hit, and his soul was almost unstable. Fortunately, in the evil spirit's lair, he could absorb the soul power and replenish his energy. He grabbed a few more evil creatures, chewed, and strode in the direction Wang Zhong left. But it was too late. Wang Zhong had already left the hotel. After returning, Wang Zhong first planted the silicone girls in the ground, let them heal, and then thought about how to deal with Gao Mushi. In that hotel, Gao Mushi's strength could be said to be invincible. So if he wanted to deal with him, he had to find a way to make him take the initiative to come out. At this time, Wang Zhong thought of Chao Ailing. So he called Chao Ailing at the first time, and told her that the reason why the evil spirit in the hotel was so strong was because of Gao Mushi. I know it's him. After listening to Wang Zhong's words, Chao Ailing sighed. Not long ago, my cousin was also killed, and he found me. Then why didn't he deal with you? Wang Zhong was puzzled. Because he said that he wants me to give birth to a child. And he wants me to be his person when I die. On the 1st of next month, he wants to marry me. Great. Wang Zhong on the phone was overjoyed. Chen Anlin, what do you mean? Chao Ailing's expression changed. She didn't expect Wang Zhong to be so happy when he heard about her. You misunderstood. What I mean is, when he marries you, it will definitely be a good thing. I won't marry him, even if I die. Chao Ailing had even considered finding a place far away to commit suicide. These days, she had also informed the office of the incident, and the office had sent people over. However, the evil spirit was too strong, and the people in the office suffered heavy casualties. Not only did they not get rid of Gao Mushi, but they also let Gao Mushi eat more spirits, increasing his strength. Chao Ailing, don't worry, listen to me. What I mean is you can lure him out. The area he is in has become an evil spirit's lair, and his strength has been greatly increased there. Moreover, the power he consumed can be replenished immediately, so it's very difficult to deal with. Only by luring him out can we weaken his strength. This time, he wants to marry you, and you pretend to agree to lure him out. At that time, I will wait for the opportunity to act. This way, Chao Ailing's eyes lit up. Then I will contact the team. It's better not to contact them. I will do it myself. After all, if he wanted to earn technical points, he wouldn't be able to earn it if others interfered. You will deal with it yourself. Well, if there are too many people, there will be too many casualties. I can do it myself. Then, okay. Chao Ailing also knew about Wang Zhong's strength, so she agreed. Aileen, I beg you marry him. The next night, Big Ant came again. It turned out that after Gao Mushi became an evil spirit, other than killing Chao Ailing's cousin, he also found the people around Chao Ailing. Gao Mushi only had one goal, And that was to put pressure on Chow Ailing to marry him willingly. It had to be said that although his method was vicious, the effect was very good. Chow Ailing's relatives and friends all came, begging Chow Ailing to marry Gao Mushi. Ailing. Big Ant continued to pull Chow Ailing's arm, almost kneeling down. Big Ant, you were the one who introduced that guy to me. Didn't you say he was very good? What do you think of him now? Chow Ailing looked at Big Ant coldly and said, This. Big Ant was stunned, and said with a bitter face, I am doing it for your own good. Stop pretending. It's because your family's business has dealings with the Gao family. So you introduced him. In the end, you are doing it for your own benefit. Isn't that right? Big Ant stopped talking, and at this time, other relatives came to persuade her. Ailing, just take it as doing it for your parents. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.